In the beginning, there was nothing. And then there was the Drunken Peasants Podcast.
I gotta get a witness. No!
Say, man, you got a joint? No, not on me, man.
I don't have facts to back this up.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
That's true. Sometimes I cry.
Oh!
Lick my butthole, he laughed.
From the strangest corners of the internet, here to bring you opinions of the world from an altered perspective. Here are your hosts, the Drunken Peasants.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Drunken Peasants Podcast. It's episode 1211.
Fuck it.
We're doing it live, 1211 once again. It's our first show of the week. It's a Wednesday show. Want to remind everyone we do a pre-show. It's on the audio-only version of the stream. You can check that out. iTunes, Spotify, wherever you find your audio podcast. Go check that out. Also, tonight, I'm not going to make a habit out of this, but tonight, after this episode, I'm going to go live on the DP Underground channel and do a bit of an after show. A live, free of charge, non-paywalled after show on the DP Underground channel. I'll share the link for it later on as we get closer to the end of the show.
It's Wet Wednesday, so remember to like the stream.
Like the stream. Liking the stream helps tremendously. So please do that. You know, someone sent me this video in the video suggestions bin, and it had this guy talking about the Brave browser, and he was promoting the Brave browser and how great it is. But he was like, I never really got into that crypto thing that it does. And then he clicks on his bat page, and he's got like 40,000 bats just sitting there, which now is like around $6,000 or so, but about 2 years ago, it would have been like $50,000.
Just chilling?
Yeah, just chilling there. And he was like, usually I just think this kind of stuff is a scam.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it's not,
He
though.
should send it to me.
It's not a scam. It every time I've used bats, it turned into real money.
He should send that to me. It's a scam. Don't spend it.
It is my pleasure to start it. Start what? The tip train.
The tip train. Yeah,
Thank you, brother.
You can start it off right now.
Just the tip.
That's part of the reason why I'm doing the after show tonight, because I'd like to try. I want this show to be a usual length show, and then I'll go do this after show on the other channel. We'll see how much closer we can get to that goal tonight to help us out with the remaining 2 shows this week. Want to get close, very close to the goal tonight.
So close that we could taste it.
I want to taste the goal.
I want to lick the inside of that goal.
I want to taste the goal
until it explodes to the outside of the goal.
Yes. So we should check out some interesting news. This is the most interesting news I've heard in a long time. Let's check it out.
He called me, sir, and got me so humiliated.
People are discriminating against wolves. Wow.
They're laughing at us, at our stupidity.
Tip train. Also, I'm just throwing this out there. Our last 4 episodes have not gotten monetized, so I'm going to try to be a sweet boy for as long as possible at the beginning of this show so that the YouTube people will like us and think we're nice and give us the green $sign.
Obviously.
Yes. So I'm just going to walk us through the timeline because the original news broke 2 days ago, and it just said like substance found, white powdery substance found, and it was in the West Wing. It was like in the more like residential part of the White House,
where they just live and play.
Yeah. And at first, back in the day, the 9/11 mindset is like, oh, it's probably anthrax or something, like, because people were mailing anthrax, the white powdery substance, everywhere when that was happening. But then they're like, oh, it might. We're getting reports that it could possibly be cocaine. So we're going to get a little bit of background for two quick news blurbs about it.
That tip train during the intro was from Lutamas.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Show a suspicious white powder found at the White House. It's cocaine.
That's what two law enforcement officials tell the Associated Press. Secret Service agents found a small amount of the substance in a common work area in the West Wing around 6 o'clock Sunday night.
In a common work area.
Yeah, it could be anybody.
It could be anybody. It could be. They have so many people that work there. There's all this staff. Or it could be Hunter.
The White House was briefly evacuated while emergency crews did rapid tests. The powder was then sent out for more analysis. President Biden and his family were at Camp David at the time. Secret Service is investigating how the substance entered the White House.
All right, here's a little more.
How long do you think it was there for?
I have no idea.
I wonder how long they sweep, like to where they would find it like that.
All I know is the Secret Service found it, they collected it and turned it over to the police, and it got
There
tested.
are a lot of questions tonight.
This is from CBS News.
For the Secret Service found what's believed to be a bag of cocaine at the White House. Sources tell CBS
a bag
News it was
of it.
discovered in
Not just like someone spilled a little bit of it. There's a bag of it. Who would do that? A place with such high security,
Well, the baggie probably just dropped out of their pocket.
Common workspace in the West Wing on Sunday night. The area is accessible to tour groups. Now, the Secret Service.
Okay, so it is accessible to tour groups, so it could have been possibly a tourist.
Do they have drug-sniffing dogs at the White House?
No, but they probably have like bomb-sniffing ones. I don't know if those work the same way. I would doubt it.
I like butt-sniffing dogs.
Service is investigating just how it got there. The president and his family were at Camp David Sunday night.
All right, so here is Fox News show The Five reacting to this.
All right, a shocking drug discovery at the White House, sparking a blizzard of speculation. Fox News can confirm that cocaine was indeed found in the West Wing on Sunday while President Biden and his family were away at Camp David. The Secret Service discovering the white powder in a what they called working area during a routine inspection. It caused a brief evacuation with fire and emergency crews responding to a 911 call to the White House, weighing in today and pointing out that there could be a lot of suspects.
Where this was discovered is a heavily traveled area where many White House, West Wing, I should be even more specific, West Wing visitors come through this particular area. When people visit the West Wing, there is the area of the West Wing where it is highly traveled, and that is what happens. People come through this particular area. It's highly traveled. I'm just not going to get into specifics. We do have.
Why not?
I'm not going to get into specifics.
Why
I'm
not?
A snitch. I don't snitch.
Of West Wing tours that occur here on campus.
Hold on, though. Don't the tourists get searched on their way in? Like,
they probably don't get a cavity search, right? Like somebody could have had some coke.
So they pulled it out of their butt in the.
They could have it tucked up under their little inner thigh or something. They're probably not pocket searching them. They're probably searching them for like weaponry, right?
They happened on Saturday and Sunday.
The White House.
I went to an event that was protected by the Secret Service, and it was like going to the airport. The TSA was actually there, but it wasn't an airport. It was an arena. Because it was a Bernie Sanders rally, so the Secret Service was there protecting him, and the TSA ran the door, and they made it was just like going to the airport.
They do have
crazy.
Drug sniffing dogs sometimes at the airport.
Depending, looking for certain types of drugs.
Questions left and right on the cocaine caper.
Ooh.
So what's preventing
It's a good title for it.
a visitor from bringing in anthrax or something that's not magnetic into the White House?
No, look, I totally understand the question, but it is under investigation.
Does the White House support the prosecution of this individual?
I'm just not going to get into hypotheticals from here.
We don't want to prosecute Hunter again because it's an entire process for us to get him off every time.
Satisfied with, sir, this is a busy room and we found some cocaine. We don't know who brought it.
So let's see what the Secret Service says, right?
How determined is the president to get to the bottom of who brought illegal drugs into the White House?
The president thinks it is incredibly important to get to the bottom of this.
I would love to be able to say the president's mad, and then they can't do that.
They should blame you.
Totally.
They should.
There's Gutfeld trying to be funny.
Say that they found it in a My Little Kitty coin purse
for a while.
I used to take
My Little Kitty.
He's mixing My Little Pony and Hello Kitty
Hello
together.
Kitty, yeah. My Little Kitty.
It's his way of not being like the guy that knows Hello Kitty or My Little Pony, but then it makes him the guy that knows both of them because he's trying to deflect from either of them by mixing the two together.
I don't think it's that calculated. I just think he's dumb and doesn't know what he's talking about.
Maybe.
I think that's
one of
more
those, the
likely.
working area of the White House. No, the purse. Of the pony purse.
Did you see
Of
what
course
they
you
did?
have to go gain, especially if you Washingtons have money in the Nazi snow house.
A little go gain.
Though?
What did they do?
It went from it was founded a library, highly specific, to a working area. And they kept stressing this over and over again. The possibility of suspects are endless. We'll probably never get to the bottom of this one.
Fox News has been trying to convince us that Gutfeld is funny for a long time. They've given him multiple comedy shows.
It'll be another unsolved mystery. And our media, who generally love to pursue a great story, when it's a Republican, will not do anything on it. And I know that sounds so repetitive, the shoe on the other foot thing, but it is true that if this were, in the last couple of weeks, we've had a trans activist burying her breasts. We find coke. It's like if this were, it's like they're running a low-rent strip club. Yes.
They didn't condone the trans activist burying her breasts to the White House, right? They said
I didn't even know about
appropriate.
that. I didn't even know about it.
It was a hard thing to fap to, but I tried.
But I also do love how the media pounces on the right for bringing up Hunter, as if he isn't the most obvious culprit. Is there somebody else we're missing, media? Should we be?
I mean, I don't know how often Hunter Biden hangs out at the White House. I don't think he lives in D.C. I could be wrong. Actually, there is a story here where they're going to later on, Fox going to try to claim he was there, but I don't know how much evidence they have.
And I got something to tell people who don't know about cocaine. If you work any sort of job where you're working high hours, chances are there's 2 or 3 people there on some form of upper. It's just
Adderall, maybe.
Adderall, cocaine, meth. There's all types of this happens.
Sudafed.
This happens in a place where you got to be up all hours working. That people love their drugs.
Truck drivers are really into that.
There's laughter
everywhere. I guarantee you, there's White House staff that's probably using cocaine just to make it through all the hellish hours they got to be up to cover up Joe Biden's weird ice cream attacks.
Is that what you would prefer? But this is a guy who leaves drugs, guns, and laptops everywhere. He got thrown out of the Navy for coke. He got thrown out of the Chateau Marmont. It's hard to get thrown out of the Chateau Marmont. Trust me, I have tried. And then, of course, he was just at the White House. So I guess, Occam's razor, this is the most obvious thing that could happen. But I love the fact that, if you bring it up, it's typical you'd bring up Hunter.
How
what
dare
about
you?
a father's love for his son?
Right. And he's
dare you?
an addict in recovery.
How dare you?
And he is an addict in recovery. Okay, whatever.
Well, that's one hell of a recovery.
All addicts are in recovery for the rest of their lives.
Yep.
Doesn't mean they can't bring coke into the White House.
Judge, she was also asked if they would be going, any of the staff within the West Wing would be undergoing drug testing. Watch her here.
I guarantee you, if anybody does, Joe Biden won't be one of them. Nobody high ranking there.
Testing for coke?
Yeah, we don't drug test the president.
This happens Sunday. If they put it off till today, if they haven't tested yet, it's out of the system.
Yeah, it gets out of your system. It's funny because, a mailman is a federal job, and they drug test mailmen, but president, they don't, which is a way more important job than mailman. You know what I mean? Your decisions affect way more people.
Mailmen have to drive trucks and stuff. Presidents get driven around. If you're
Coke doesn't make you bad at driving.
If you're gonna be on drugs, being the president's probably the safest job to have.
For the president, it is.
Because you got a team of people who are there to take care of you anyways, on every aspect, to protect you, to guide you. Joe Biden might as well be on coke.
He should be.
Will any White House staffers be undergoing drug testing as part of this investigation?
White House is subject to rigorous guidelines.
I hate coke. It makes my JJ so
any
wet.
action that is appropriate and warranted pending the outcome of the Secret Service. Just not going to get into hypotheticals from here.
Her ambivalence in her answer in not answering is consistent with the ambivalence about will the White House prosecute Why would you not say we are going to prosecute? We have to set send the message here. It is illegal. You don't bring it into the White House if you're a staffer.
How many other things has Hunter Biden done that's illegal that Joe Biden gets turned over for him? If it happens to be Hunter Biden, why prosecute? That's 2 calls you got to make now. One to prosecute and one to get him off.
Right. Yeah, just skip both steps.
High on cocaine, you shouldn't be in the White House.
Oh, no, I think that would be a blast.
Being high in the White House?
Yeah, high on cocaine in the White House. They should do a special White House tour that's just that.
I wonder how many priceless artifacts that sit in the White House have been stolen by Hunter Biden.
I would hope none.
I bet you he's pocketed some stuff.
I honestly, all jokes aside, don't think Hunter Biden hangs out at the White House very often.
I could just see him going in there just to take some stuff,
Brings
walk
cocaine
out,
in.
leave
You
his
should
little Coke bag behind.
Be in the White House. If you're a tourist, and how many think a tourist would do this? You think you're going to get past the incredible...
Was he like, I'm paying it forward, like I'll leave
Remember
this,
that
take one, leave one?
guy that got ran out of Congress after saying he was invited to coke and sex parties? Maybe it's been there a while.
The wheelchair guy?
Yeah, can they test how old it is? Is there a way to test that? I'm not an expert.
Yeah, I don't know what the degradation period of cocaine is of a teener. What the half-life of a teener is. I just know the one thing I know about cocaine is if there's still some after the weekend's over, it wasn't very good.
Screening, get past the canines, get past everything if you're a tourist, and who's going to dare do it?
And then, once you get through all those things, then take it out of your pocket and put it in the cubby hole.
It there. But the amazing thing is, Greg touched on this, but the D.C. hazmat people said it's in the library. There's a tape recording. Dana, where is the library? The library is in the East Wing, where the president's family is, and not the West Wing, where the public and the press go through.
Okay, so I was the East Wing is where he lives, and the West Wing is where they have the administrative part of the White House.
But let me continue that train of thought because I am a prosecutor, and this kind
I thought she was going to say something else.
Prostituter?
Because I am a prostituter.
Makes me crazy. Number one, the purpose, and let me say this, Secret Service agents are ready to take a bullet for the president. But I want to ask you, the Secret Service job is to protect the president and his family. The Secret Service is the one that retrieved the gun from that basket, that garbage can outside the school. The Secret Service are the people who went to where Hunter bought the gun and tried to get the pistol permit application.
Okay, I don't know about any of this other stuff. This sounds like more Fox News Hunter conspiracy theory.
That is the substance of a crime right now, away from the shop owner, but he wouldn't give it to them. So here we have a White House that wants to manage every aspect of our lives, what drugs we can take, what drugs we can't take, whether we should go to work, whether we should go to school, whether we should do this or that. But a little cocaine in the White House, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves.
I know she's being sarcastic, but I agree. Just a little bit of cocaine, who cares?
Yeah, it's probably one of the staffers. They're probably just tooting up over the weekend, working hard, knowing they had to go into 4th of July with all this stuff finished up, all this crazy work. Why get somebody because they're on a little bit of cocaine? If it wasn't for cocaine, half of your favorite movies wouldn't be made, half of your favorite politicians wouldn't have been elected in, half of your favorite prostitutes wouldn't be affordable.
It's outrageous the way they responded.
Joey, the White House demanded a second test because it's almost as if they're like, gosh, we really hope it's anthrax and not cocaine. That story's really bad.
That's funnier than anything Gutfeld has ever said.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be really hard for the White House to come out strong against this person. I mean, just think about it. What if this person...
It looks like they hired him just to be this guy.
Yeah.
He's dressed up as this guy.
Yeah, the hair in the suit.
It's not a real person thing.
There's a staffer there.
They're like, we need a used car salesman to talk about cocaine right now.
Come out and say, you know what, I'll just work really hard.
Here we have an expert on cocaine, a used car salesman.
Seriously.
They expect me to work 18 hours a day. I'm stressed out. I fell into this bad habit. My family member died. It was tragic. I'm struggling to keep up. I've become an addict. I'm a victim of my own device or my own vices, and I need help. Is what it is.
This guy is on the panel because he did cocaine with Hunter Biden once.
He's really good at coming up with excuses. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm so good at coming up with excuses, they could use one of these. Become an addict. I don't even know what's wrong with me. I'm an addict living in an attic.
Help. I mean, this is an administration that, if in no other way than through their own silence, supports the broad progressive policy in communities and cities around the country that says doing drugs is not an immoral thing. It's a sign of victimhood.
No.
Crime unfairly prosecutes people. Their position as a party from coast to coast is to make excuses and to provide some sort of redemption path for someone who does drugs or is addicted to drugs, not provide consequence. So how can you support Gavin Newsom or his entire state on this and come out hard on somebody that might work for you that got caught with a little bit of cocaine? I mean, they've put themselves in a place where I don't see how they can come down hard on them, and not be called out for hypocrisy by the further left.
Did he make a point?
His point was, you can't come down hard because this is probably one of your staffers.
Yeah.
So I don't see how they could do it without cracking down on one of their good staffers.
So he's against coming down hard.
I think, maybe he's saying that's why they're not coming down hard. But did they hire this guy just to be like this sketchy-looking liberal? Like,
I don't think he's a liberal. I think he was trying to sound conservative, but ended up coming out sounding liberal.
Maybe.
No, I think so.
He
didn't really make a point. I thought he was going towards a point, and then he kind of was just like, they don't want to throw drug users in jail, so they're not going to do it because they won't.
Like, have you ever gone to buy cocaine from somebody, and while you're buying it, you're like, I'm pretty sure this guy's a cop, and you have to find out if he's one of those cool cops that sells cocaine on the sides, or one of those cops that's going to bust you for buying cocaine? He reminds me of that guy.
I'd like to put myself, Jessica, in the shoes of any press secretary and imagine what it would have been like on a Sunday night of the holiday weekend when you think, I'm going to have like 2 days here where I can just catch my breath, spend some time with my family, and you get the call that says, hey, heads up, they found cocaine in the White House.
Well, it seemed like a joke.
I thought that was Kennedy at first. I didn't take a good look at her because I saw her sitting there with the haircut and the glasses, but it's not Kennedy. It's somebody else.
Yeah, Kennedy broke the blonde bombshell machine at Fox News.
And now it's the brown librarian machine.
They did get the blonde bombshell machine fixed, but they have the quirky librarian hipster machine still working from Kennedy's days.
I see.
Yeah, it's circulating on Twitter. I thought it was like the perfect July hoax, right?
Too
like
on the nose. Or in the
nose. And every joke was taken before you could get back on TV, which must have been devastating for you, Greg. But it did. Like,
every joke was taken before you could get back on TV, which must have been devastating for you, Greg.
They know he's not funny,
Yeah,
right?
she shit down his throat.
That is hilarious. Look
Stuffed
at his face.
Kennedy shit down his throat.
He looks like it hurts a little bit. He's wincing.
Yeah. He's like, they know me too well. I'm a fucking hack.
Yeah.
If I was actually a comedian, I'd be touring.
Son who's was an addict is openly in recovery.
I think they wanted him to be their like Jon Stewart kind of.
They hoped.
And they gave him a show very similar. Now he hosts a panel show. He's got the Funkasaurus on it with him.
Comedy doesn't work as well in the news when you're the news channel that's like everything is to save the children from the children eating elites.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, yeah, I don't know how you can make this funny because we're supposed to be in fear for the children right now.
Yeah, when they're not trying to be funny is when they're funny.
Yeah.
Trying to be funny just doesn't make it funny at all.
Suddenly,
reality for them is funnier.
And that's why the blue hair people on the other side, only laughing at them is funny. They're not capable of being humorous themselves.
Aggie of coke. He met up with his dad before they went to Camp David. Did he slip into the visitor place and, just stash something in a cubby hole? Like,
why would he stash?
Yeah, he'll stash it in his nose, right? Or he'll stash it with some baking soda.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Insane. But of course, are riveted by it on Sunday evening. And then you have the people who, people are defending the family, obviously saying, it's too on the nose, in the nose, whatever. And then you have the people who
Did she use the joke again after telling Gutfield that he couldn't use the joke, and now she's trying to do it again? Don't do it again.
Hunter, no matter what, who are, tracing things, it turns into one of those, like, remember the show Homeland, one of those boards where there are red strings connecting, and then he
She's
went
very
here.
animated.
I'm sure he talked to so and so. And it's all really just concerning on a national security level. And I think that was...
Is it? How is it, who's going to die from it? How is it dangerous?
If the kids are in there, they do too much coke, I don't think there's enough in the baggie to hurt anybody.
That was asked, what if anthrax now can get in easily? How is this conceivable?
What if anthrax get to the White House? Well, hopefully we can chase down the person who brought it in better than we could hide the fact that Hunter left his coke in the White House. But nobody really cares about the coke. If the anthrax comes in, that's part of a bigger problem. The coke is not part of a bigger problem. The coke is part of a boogeyman saying there could be a bigger problem. Give somebody the intent to bring something in there to hurt, and then we'll crack down. Maybe we'll crack down now. Maybe there'll be no more cocaine allowed in the White House. Who knows?
Do you think a CIA agent...
in fact, degrade into an acid over the course of months? I tried to re-Google it to find exactly what it turns into, but couldn't find it. Can someone verify through more donos?
Yes, please. Use more donos to educate us with your wallet.
Maybe it was a CIA agent that dropped it on his way to the crack factory.
Matter of fact, if you want to make up stuff, donate it and make up the answer.
Yeah,
to
that's
that.
fine.
We don't care about the truth. We want your money.
That cocaine got in there, if not from someone who works in there and could get it in a...
There are lots of cameras in the White House. I don't know.
I bet they're going to blame it on a worker, like somebody that cleans. That's what they'll do. 'Cause, that's the easiest way out. Is just it was an overnight worker.
But there's a glassine bag. Are there fingerprints on the bag? Did they protect the bag?
DNA,
Did they collect it in the proper way?
Well, and we know it's not Hunter because Hunter's a man of the people. He's a crack guy. This is cocaine. This is way too white collar.
Yeah. But how do you make crack? How do you make it?
Well, you got to take a 15 cents worth of cocaine.
You need cocaine.
And you need some ammonia, and you need some baking soda.
And they didn't say this was a huge bag of it, so
you
it might have been
some
a good...
Pyrex.
Yeah.
And then you got to cook it up in the Pyrex, swirl it around. As it starts to rock up, that cocaine becomes rocks. But Hunter's not the type to make crack.
Oh, I'm sure he could make it.
I don't think he's the type to make it.
Oh, I think he knows how to make it.
Privileged people don't even do their own laundry, let alone make their own crack.
Can you imagine, though,
Coke turns into a massive sugar rush and gives you superpowers, but if used daily, you will die of a heart attack due to the sugar. Yeah, sugar is bad for you.
On those holiday
Booger or
weekends,
not.
you do get a lot of friends and family asking you, can you please give us a tour while we're in town for the fireworks? And so you go in on the weekend. Can you imagine how many people are calling their friends and family going, did you just screw my life over? Because you better fess up right now.
That would have been a good thing. Hunter, getting his dealer in on a tour. That's a great way to get your drugs in.
It's not bad.
That's a great
It's another red string connecting.
Bring back the West Wing show. You've got writers right here on the 5.
Let's bring back the West Wing show to have one episode on cocaine being in the White House.
Kevin Spacey has to be in it.
Kevin Spacey?
Yeah, wasn't he in the West Wing?
No, he was on House of Cards.
House of Cards, okay.
Yeah, and his...
Who was in the West
His
Wing?
little Secret Service agent guy that helped him around, his
Yeah,
security
cocaine?
guy. No, he had sex with him and his wife.
Oh, well, I'm not surprised.
They did like a
about that.
bisexual thing with their little security guard.
Oh, I'm not surprised about that at all. Who was in the West Wing?
Charlie Sheen's dad.
Oh, Martin Sheen.
Yeah, so maybe Charlie Sheen was in the West Wing.
That's it.
I think
His
that's
son.
More, that's more likely.
Carlos.
That's more likely.
Fox was like, we need our own Bill Maher, and with that very low bar set, Gutfeld was still the best they could do.
Yeah.
I think we cracked the code. So Carlos Estevez was actually the real life Hunter Biden.
I don't think it's right to use somebody's Mexican name when you accuse them of drugs.
They're not Mexican.
That's a Mexican name right there.
It's a Spanish name.
That's what I meant to say.
Okay. Yeah, they're not Mexican. They're like Spanish from Spain. Yeah. Mexican name.
As a North American, I don't think of Spain when I think of Spanish. I think of Mexico. They're our neighbors.
Sad. You said you were cultured. Anyway, here's
Hunter Biden joining the first family on the White House balcony for the 4th of July.
So this is going to be their evidence here as to how the cocaine got there. They're going to be like, oh, Biden was there.
Fireworks show as Secret Service agents investigate suspected cocaine that was found in the West Wing. Mark Meredith, he joins us now from the White House. Mark.
Kaylee, Stephen, Griff, good morning to all three of you. President Biden and his family came back to the White House from Camp David to enjoy the 4th of July festivities last night. It was a picture-perfect night here in the nation's capital. But this morning, there are more questions about who's coming in and out of the White House after cocaine was found in the West Wing. Now, the president nor his staff talked about this last night during the celebration. Cameras spotted the first family, including the First Lady and first son Hunter Biden, there in attendance. But it appears these drugs were discovered on Sunday while the president was away. They were found in a work area of the West Wing. The Secret Service put out a statement on Tuesday, a spokesperson writing, the D.C. Fire Department was called to evaluate and quickly determine the item to be non-hazardous. The item was sent for further evaluation, and an investigation into the cause and manner of how it entered the White House is pending. We'll continue to watch it. This morning, we're also watching more attention being focused on Hunter Biden.
Oh, what a great segue into this other story. They're like, speaking of Hunter Biden.
And the federal investigation tied to him. Tomorrow is the deadline set by the Republican-controlled House Judiciary Committee for the U.S. Attorney in Delaware to answer questions of theirs about how the investigation into Hunter Biden was handled. The questions come after 2 whistleblowers came forward to claim that the investigation was not handled properly. The U.S. Attorney out in Delaware has denied any wrongdoing. He's also rejected these whistleblowers' claims, saying he had the ultimate authority in this case. But there's still going to be a lot of back and forth between the Justice Department and House Republicans about what was going on behind the scenes. And later this month, guys, Hunter Biden's going to be in court to formally accept that plea agreement, which means he won't be spending any time in jail for those taxes.
Yeah, and Trump's probably not going to spend time in jail either. They're above the law. They're getting slaps on the wrist for shit we would be doing hard time for. It's sad.
Fraud charges.
It's only sad if you're poor.
It's sad.
Griffin, Kaylee, back to you guys.
Close enough. Mark, the folks don't understand. Griff and Kaylee and I understand. For you to be standing on the north lawn of the White House, you had to go through the Northwest Gate, and they've got all sorts of detectors there. And so it is extraordinary that somehow cocaine wound up in the White House, in the West Wing, apparently. And I don't know if you know the answer to this or not, but in the history of the White House, has cocaine ever been discovered before by the Secret Service and made public?
That's a great question, Steve. I don't know of any past incidents of cocaine being found. Obviously, it would be not.
Taft had a huge coke party. They printed it up in the tabloids. And then they actually said if you could come in and find the remnants of Taft's cocaine in his undercarriage, because he's a fat man, they were doing big rippers off of his naked body, like you could keep it.
Not a huge surprise to imagine that over the years, all sorts of things have come in and out of these gates. But you're right, when it comes to the people that have to go through security, usually it's a metal detector screening, and they'll screen, and Kaylee would know this better, obviously she worked here. I mean, you would go through a screening on the traditional sense. You have to,
Kaylee's like, he's like, Kaylee would know this better, and her eyes lit up. I was like, don't tell them about our coke parties. And then he's like, oh yeah, I did work there. I know about the metal detectors.
Use your cell phone, stuff like that. But then they kind of go through, look for any of those hazardous materials. But in terms of whether or not it's in a bag or ever how it may have been transported, a pill bottle, I don't necessarily know if that would have triggered any alarms. And Kaylee, maybe you can speak to this. I mean, staff doesn't have to go through the same screening that we do as press when we come through the gates. So if you have more regular access, I would imagine you don't have to go through those same screening procedures, right?
Mark, thank you.
So yeah, it was probably an employee.
I will say, as a West Wing staffer, you do go through a metal detector.
Can all of our brain dead fans stop typing one letter at a time in the chat? All you brain dead idiots. I don't know who started that, but all you brain dead followers need to stop. Oh my God. What's wrong with you? I'm trying to steal from the chat right now, and all I see is F's and A's and 6's and N's. Stupid.
Put your bag right there through a metal detector as well. They look, they x-ray, they see what's in the bag. It's extraordinary to think that this could have gotten into the West Wing, Steve, into a public place. Apparently, this is a place where tour guides can go through. We don't know exactly where it was in the West Wing, but having been there, worked there, it's a small place. Did a tourist bring it in? If so, that's troubling for national security.
I doubt it's a tourist.
For the security of the President of the United States. Was it a staffer? If so, we got to get to the bottom of it. A staffer shouldn't be using cocaine or bringing it into the White House.
I say it's fine.
But troubling nonetheless.
They should be given cocaine. Everybody should. We got to stop the war on drugs by just giving away drugs the same way we give away food stamps. Everybody should get a drug stipend. Your drug of choice is mailed to you once a month in a little fucking pill bottle, and you get a party. on your free time, as long as you go to work. As long as you do something productive, you get a little bit of party in the free time. Let's go.
White powder in the West Wing.
Griff?
Yeah, and I'm actually going to be on White House duty for the early shift on
Hell
Friday.
yeah.
So I'll report back to the...
I thought he was going to be like, so if you're the person who brought the Coke, hit me up because it's going to be really early.
Yeah, I'll bring some fucking Bud Light Lime. Let's go.
Here and let you know if the security measures are increasing. Clearly, something got missed somewhere, and you can bet they're doing a lot of Monday morning quarterbacking, trying to figure out how a breach like this occurred and what should...
Probably because they look for actually dangerous things and not... I guess people could say, oh, it could have been anthrax, and they do look alike, but... I don't know. I don't know what kind of security they have in place.
Our one of our pleb chatters, Hurricane Kid, says, yeah, one-letter chats is bad. One-letter chats is bad, but telling kids to do coke is fine in chat? Thank you. Somebody gets it.
Could be the most secure building on planet Earth.
Right, but if you look at the internet and you look at social media, there are all sorts of memes and there are all sorts of rumors. Let's see who has access to the White House, who kind of looks like he's living at the White House. Oh yeah, Hunter Biden. There's nothing to see. That's just going on the internet. But you know that because I'm sure everybody has sent that stuff to you. Now, Hunter's been in the news a lot because it was revealed just in the last week or 10 days that he is going to cop a plea, essentially. He's going to plead guilty to a couple of...
Yeah, they did it with this story, too. They're like, oh, by the way, let's talk about Hunter Biden. Here's Joe Biden at a press conference with some leader of another country. I can't remember who it was.
Talking about the cocaine?
They ask him about it, and he's very evasive.
Mr. President, what makes you confident
That creepy head. And Joe Biden.
Yeah, it's one of the Kennedys. I think it's Robert.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, everybody.
It's the severed head of Robert F. Kennedy.
You can see there that the president was asked
Well,
many
that's the
questions.
only way to make sure those Kennedys don't come back from the dead.
And he's just sitting there like... Yeah, they're like Highlander. You ever seen those movies, Highlander?
Yeah. They know that Kennedy's not coming back because his head's covered in peanut butter sitting in the White House. Any of the other Kennedys are like zombies.
It's frozen in carbonite.
Yeah. Peanut butter carbonate.
Including how cocaine got into the White House but did not answer.
So that was it? He was just...
They were all asking him all at the same time, and he's like...
He's like, I love mint chocolate chip, but some people like cocaine.
Cocoa flake chip.
Oh.
All right, we do have some breaking news. Lab tests just back on the powdery substance found at the Washington Leaf factories.
Let's see.
Was it cocaine? Did they find cocaine?
Get to join him on this trip. With that, Josh, good to see you.
Good to see you, Kareem. Two subject areas. First, has the U.S. been in contact with the Kremlin over...
I think we already saw most of this.
First up, has the U.S. been in contact with the Kremlin over the baggie of cocaine we found?
Possible prisoner exchange.
Can they get us better cocaine than what you found in the White House? Leave Joe Biden alone! Thank you, Red Scare. Somebody has to protect that man.
On Evan, sadly, we do not have...
He asked it as a question. Leave Joe Biden alone?
Any news to share?
As long as he's alone.
Is,
kosher.
Coke is vegan and kosher, but one thing about Coke, it's not. Is it humane? Is that what they say when a food's not humane?
Cruelty free?
Yeah, it's not cruelty free. Cocaine is not cruelty free, but it is vegan and kosher.
Evan, along with Paul Whelan, who are both wrongfully detained, as you know, should be home. They should be home with their families. I just don't have anything to share at this time.
Okay, here's the next question.
Agent 006 says, don't all $20 bills have Coke on them? Yes.
All right, from now on, you'll have to send us Streamlabs before we read your comment.
Part of the intro.
And all $1 bills have pussy juice on
more
them.
details on where
Fact.
the Secret Service found cocaine in the West Wing and how it got there.
So, as you know, this is under the purview of the Secret Service. They are currently investigating what happened over the weekend, so I would have to refer you to the Secret Service on all of this.
Secret Service?
But one thing that I can share, that I'll share a little bit more information. As you know,
She's doing her best Porky Pig routine right now.
The president and the first lady and their family were not here this weekend, as you all reported on this, and as you also know that they left on Friday and returned just yesterday. Where this was discovered is a heavily traveled area where many White House.
All right, so check this out. I think it might have been yesterday. It was the hottest recorded day ever. I don't know how they measure that. Like maybe it's the hottest it's ever been recorded on planet Earth in one location.
Overall or one location or what?
Yeah, let's see what they say.
UIC Earth and Environmental Science professor Max Berkelhammer says he wasn't surprised.
It's been getting hotter and hotter every year, and every year we're breaking new records.
But when he learned Earth's hottest month ever recorded was this past June, and the world's hottest day was yesterday.
Frustrating, it's a little scary to hear it, kind of knowing the threats that type of heat imposes on communities.
He says as the Earth's temperature continues to rise due to human activity, plus natural El Nino heat, it can only serve to strengthen existing climate and weather events, making them even more
silver burger hammer.
It's the burger hammer, dude.
The burger hammer.
Extreme.
And that added heat, the air can carry more moisture, so when you get large storms, they can be more extreme.
Same with wildfires in already heat-stressed forests. He says they can burn hotter and longer.
When you don't have these cool periods between them where the fires slow down, they're going to continue to get more extreme.
Not to mention extreme, life-threatening heat events in Chicago, potentially worse.
A slight increase in the extreme of those can cause major health impacts, particularly to marginalized communities in the city.
And according to the ABC7 data team, localized heat indexes have been rising in the Chicago area.
Sticky in the chat says, if you told me just his name, that is the exact human I'd describe. He owns a telescope 100%. And
absolutely.
And he thinks about using the telescope to look into women's windows, but he never does. But he thinks about it.
According to the CDC, in the decade from 2010 to 2019, the number of days with a 40-year record-breaking heat index in Cook County more than doubled compared to the decade from 1990 to 1999, from 27 to 69 days.
But just because we don't live on a coast doesn't mean that we're immune.
Did that guy just walk through a sewer drain? Is this the one that Marilyn Monroe's skirt flew up under?
Extreme climate-related weather events.
As the temperatures rise, ice melts in the Arctic. That raises sea levels all around the world, and that's a problem, and that changes temperature, wind, rain, precipitation patterns all over.
MSI head scientist Patricia Ward says reducing carbon emissions is one part of a multi-pronged approach.
There is no single solution.
In Hyde Park, Mark Rivera, ABC7 Eyewitness
They don't
News.
really explain how it was the world's hottest day. I was hoping they would.
Yeah. They're like, world's hottest day.
Yeah.
We won't tell you what that means. We'll just tell you politically why you should vote one way. Shit.
Okay, let's see what this is. This is from BBC News.
The world's hottest day since records began. Ooh.
Oh, shit.
The world's average temperature reached a new high on Monday, the 3rd of July, topping 17 degrees Celsius for the first time.
So that maybe that's what they mean, the overall average temperature of the Earth?
Well, hopefully they'll tell us. It says scientists said the reading was the highest in any instrumental recording dating back to the end of the 19th century. The high heat is due to the combination of the El Nino weather event and the ongoing emissions of carbon dioxide. Researchers believe there will be more records in the coming months as El Nino strengthens. How long does El Nino usually run for?
Usually during the summertime, I believe. And then there's La Nina, which is something different, another weather phenomenon they call La Nina.
Yeah, and then they're going to have...
Menudo.
The Niñex, like Latinx is. Since the start of this year, researchers have been growing increasingly concerned about rapidly rising temperatures on land and at sea. Record spring heat in Spain and in many countries in Asia was followed by marine heat waves in places that don't normally see them, such as in the North Sea. This week, China continued to experience an enduring heat wave with temperatures in some places above 35 Celsius, while the southern U.S. has also been subject to stifling conditions.
35 Celsius is pretty warm.
So up here it says 17 degrees Celsius up above and 35 here. Are they going to explain how this is a record or where the record is?
It almost sounds like it's average temperature of the Earth is how it seems.
If it was average temperature, the average global surface air temperature reaching 17 Celsius for the first time since we have reliable records available as a significant symbolic milestone in our warming world. That makes sense.
Okay.
That's the line. We found the line that makes sense.
Line.
Thank you.
Yeah, and this is crazy because the UK usually, like, traditionally was known as a cold, rainy place.
Yeah.
And now it is, if you look at, like, the historical data, it used to be kind of consistent, and then it's gone through the roof.
This is like just a degree above normal this year, and all the other ones were pretty normal. This is like a 130-year period. And this year it's like a degree above the other peaks. That's not so bad, right?
This is average temperature. Average temperature going up 1 degree is a huge change.
Well.
Yeah.
Buy an air conditioner, UK.
That's where you see the difference. So yeah, 1 degree is a lot when you're talking about averages.
Because it's over 1 degree below in 1920 there. And we never
Are you just trying
murdered.
to disagree?
Yes, I'm tired of people using the weather to scare us. We should be scared of other things, like cocaine in the White House.
Let's talk politics. Former President Donald Trump gaining...
By the way, everyone, please like the stream if you haven't already. Give the stream a like, please.
Look at Ramaswamy coming up on that 5%, out putting out pants.
Yeah, and DeSantis still super far away. No one is a contender against Trump. I'm wondering, is there anybody that could jump in?
You know why Ramaswamy's got that little edge that put him in third?
No.
He was the guy that was like, look, we have to, as a party, get behind Trump. If Trump gets arrested, we have to do everything we can as a president to get him off.
Yeah.
And now they're like, yeah, we like that Ramaswamy fellow. Let's have him be the second in command in case Trump does go to jail for 400 years. Ramaswamy will vote him in and get Trump off.
It's some ground in a brand new post-indictment poll with a wide double-digit lead over Ron DeSantis, who is making his message clear about his plans for the swamp.
It's worse today than it's ever been, by far, and that's a sad testament to the state affairs of our country. But even if you're successful at...
I'm looking at the people that would normally show up to his rallies. He doesn't have a cool hat or a T-shirt even yet.
They all look like Tom Green's dad from Freddy Got Fingered.
Rip Torn?
Yeah.
The next guy can just refill it. So I want to break the swamp. That's really what we need to do.
So how do you feel about Governor DeSantis' message as opposed to Donald?
He'd be the fattest president ever. if
Chris
he
Christie?
was. Yes, Taft wasn't. I mean, think about when Taft was alive, when people were a lot thinner.
Taft had some chunky tits.
He
though.
wasn't.
He had supple breasts.
You don't know anything about that.
I seen him
Trump,
once.
and how about Governor?
You've
at a
seen
cocaine
him?
party at the White House.
But yeah, like Chris Christie, way fatter. Definitely fatter.
Chris Christie. He is also running for the GOP nomination. Governor, great to see you on the couch.
Brian, thank you.
ABC freed you up to become president. That was nice
man,
of them.
we've seen like the full array of the Fox Blonde machine today.
Very nice.
Eleanor
Yeah,
Roosevelt had a bigger dumper than Chris Christie.
Contract
though.
run for president. It was nice.
She wasn't
your
president.
take on Governor DeSantis' take on the swamp.
Well, look, I think that there's always going to be that problem. You know, I had it when I was governor of New Jersey for 8 years.
But he won't be president. He doesn't stand a chance. Almost nobody does.
Does Chris Christie have a plate of snacks in front of him at this table reading? Does he got a little, like, some pretzels or something in front of him.
Democracy that's stuck, but what it takes is leadership to move it. And you have to move those people and either physically get them out or have them change their attitudes. And that's about leadership. And we did it in New Jersey in a place where, there's a...
So President Taft, while he was president, was about 6 feet tall and about 300 pounds.
What a chunk.
I guarantee you Chris Christie weighs more.
And more Democrats
How
than
tall is
Republicans.
Chris Christie?
Let's see.
Chris Christie got a bit of a duck butt.
Yeah, it looks like he wears a diaper. There are pictures of him in a baseball uniform because suits hide it pretty well. His picture of him in a baseball uniform, he looks pretty big. Let's see.
Wolford points out that Chris Christie hasn't gotten stuck in a tub yet.
Yeah, but I mean, like, tubs were way smaller back in the 1800s or early, whenever Taft was alive. It was like early 1900s.
They were until Taft got stuck in one. Then they
made him
bathtub.
one.
They made him a big boy bathtub.
Taft is nowhere, like, Taft's BMI was definitely lower than Chris
Completely
Christie's.
Democratic
for one
legislature,
thing.
so it can be.
So Chris Christie is 5'11", so close to Taft's height.
What's his weight? Did they say?
It's hard to find. They say he weighs about 300 pounds.
Yeah.
So
done.
Taft and Christie in a hot dog eating contest.
In a sumo contest.
But you have to show
I want to
strong
see them
leadership.
eat like parfaits.
And not just talk about it, but actually do.
On the Democratic side, Bobby Kennedy has a different message than Biden does. On the Republican side, what is your message?
Yeah, it says 300 online, but I'm looking at Christie. I think Christie weighs more than 300.
Compared to Donald
He's just
Trump.
a 300-pound man.
Different in a lot of ways. First off, the drama that he's created over the course of the last 7 years for the Republican Party has just led to losing, Ainsley. I mean, lost in 18 in the House, lost in 20 in the Senate, lost the White House in 20, lost 2 more governorships in 22 and a Senate seat in 22, and a real thin margin in the House. We see that's what's doing to us. First of all, we got to show how we can win independent voters again. And when the president was asked that by Brett Baer the other night, he said, well, I'm going to win suburban women by telling them that I actually won the election in 2020. I mean, I'm sorry. The women I know are not going to be convinced to vote for him in 2024 because
I mean, you don't know all of them. I guarantee you people are convinced. Don't base all the women you know versus everyone else. Like,
how many women does Chris Christie even know? The girls that serve him at the fucking Mr. Swirly?
He was the governor, dude. Most powerful person in his state. He knows
the governor of New Jersey.
New Jersey's a pretty highly populated
You think
state.
he hangs out at the fat trucks down by Rutgers?
Probably. Or, well, he probably sends someone to do it for
He's
him.
like, give me one of them sandwiches with the chicken tenders and the French fries and the Alfredo sauce.
He still won the election in
And the
2020.
marinara.
He's a backwards-looking candidate, and he's angry. He feels like he wasn't treated fairly. But he hasn't treated us fairly either, Ainsley, because the stuff he did...
And Taft was president for, I wasn't sure, but it was early 1900s. 1909 until 1913.
Yeah, I think he got the presidency by winning a hot dog eating contest.
Yeah, that was the first Nathan's Famous hot dog eating contest on Coney Island.
It was a big deal back then.
All he had to do was return them. Right. If he returned them, we wouldn't have this indictment. We wouldn't have this problem. And now America's going to have to go through an indicted president, and that's sad.
Well, and it's all coming up
Fox,
somewhere around the election.
Fox is still trying to figure out what they're going to do because if Trump gets the nomination again, they're going to have to support him. But right now, they want him to go away.
Which is what they did in the original election that Trump won.
Yep.
What do you make of Donald Trump then telling Semaphore regarding those plans and the stuff he waved around? Well, those were golf course plans.
Well, I think he said it was bravado.
He said that too.
Right, which is...
He said he had golf shirts mixed in the boxes with top secret documents. It's hilarious.
Knowing him for 22 years is Trumpese for I lied. I wasn't really waving around.
Being the governor of New Jersey, you'd probably know Donald Trump pretty well because his casinos are in Atlantic City, the Taj Mahal.
Especially the casinos that have the buffets. Chris Christie was at those all the time.
Well, they did that video where he had the buffet in front of him.
It was a good video.
I lied, and you just have to accept that. Look, when he gets backed into a corner, and I've seen this over 22 years, when he gets backed into a corner, he makes up another story. When his tax
he says he's known him for 22 years.
In 2016.
So.
All of a sudden, there was this legal advice that he couldn't release, his tax returns as long as he was under audit, and he's always been under audit, right? So, I've seen this act before, and look, the American people, I think, have grown tired of it. And while the poll numbers are still good right now, that's because we haven't engaged in a campaign yet. We're going to engage in a campaign. We're going to engage in debates.
Trump doesn't even want to show up to the debates. There's a debate coming up really soon in November. It's one of those debates where there's going to be like 12 of them up there.
If Trump just watched the debates and restreamed them like with our screen, and he had he was in your box and the box below him was like I don't know,
Don Jr.
Maybe
Eric.
Don Jr. I was thinking like one of those really right wing.
How about
the Hodge twins?
How about Ivanka in a hot tub riding an inflatable pickle, Amaranth style?
Yeah, that would get way more views. Ivanka ain't like that.
On Fox, and
until
the Republican primary voters have a right for every candidate who wants the nomination to get up on that stage and allow them to compare against each other. And if if you're Donald Trump and you're so perfect and strong about your record, well, you shouldn't have any problem getting up there and defending it.
But you did think
But Trump is got all the attention on him, and going to debate all these other people gives them more legitimacy. He has all the legitimacy in the world.
Yeah,
he was president.
Though, it might be against the primary rules not to be in the debate. I don't know.
Yeah, I would have to look that up.
Yeah.
If it was, then, I think Trump would just show up and plead the fifth.
So the Russia thing was
bring his lawyer up with him.
I said it right from the beginning, Brian.
Right from the beginning.
Right from the beginning. Look, I was in that campaign in 2016.
Because the primaries are held by the party, so they make the rules for their own primary.
And I knew there was no way that campaign was colluding with Russia. It was, and the problem there was.
Is this show true and honest, Mr. Joker Card?
True and honest.
Yes, we would never lie to you.
And I've been trying to get a hold of Mr. Joker Card to get him on the show because he's a $100 patron. So respond to my message I sent you so we can get that booked.
Not only Jim Comey, who was dishonest and I think should have been prosecuted, but secondly, Jeff Sessions coming in and recusing himself was just an act of political cowardice. And so the president was ill-served by the FBI director.
2.5 years.
Right. And by the FBI director he kept. And I recommended to him during the transition that he fire Jim Comey. I had worked with Jim. I knew Jim well. And I said, you should fire him now. He refused that advice.
He got bad advice. You should have been the chief of staff.
Well, he offered it to me in 2018, and I turned it down. And the reason I turned it down was because I just didn't believe
he's getting out of breath.
Wanted to hear the truth. And look, for everything anybody can ever say about me, I say exactly what I think, and that's the kind of advice I give. And when I told him the kind of advice I thought he was going to need, I could tell it wasn't going to work that well, and I didn't want to go in there and create more tumult. He wanted somebody different, and he obviously went with Mick Mulvaney for a short period of time, and then with Mark Meadows.
Would it work to your benefit not to have him on the stage in August to be able to shine?
No, Brian, I want everybody on the stage. I think Republican primary voters deserve it. If you want the nomination of our party, and the party
I thought he said tumult, like tumultuous, Sticky. Sticky's asking if he said tummel. Tummel.
Tummel.
I thought he said tumult.
Tummel.
Like tumultuous.
And trouble to set these things
Tumultuous.
up. Well, then you should be there. And I don't know why he's afraid.
You think he's afraid?
Oh, I do. I think he's afraid.
He's got a 20-point lead. Why play the semifinals?
Well, if you got a 20-point lead, turn it into a 30-point lead.
Wasn't it a 30-point lead last week? Look, 55-22?
Something like that.
Shit, so he did turn it a 30-point lead. Damn it. Maybe he's doing something right.
So great, right? I mean, look, I had a 20-point lead in New Jersey before the first debates. After the two debates we had, I had a 30-point lead. So if you got a 20-point lead,
how'd that work out for you?
If you're confident in your...
Oh, no, he's talking about the gubernatorial election, so it worked out for him well.
And your story, then come out and tell it, and be challenged by people who want the job. And I think that's what the voters deserve to hear. And I think even people who voted for Donald Trump, and I voted for him twice, Even people who voted for Donald Trump.
He shouldn't mention that, even though that's obvious. He should not be mentioning that.
They're going to look, and if he's not there, they're not going to like it.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
Thanks, Governor.
So great to see all three of you.
Him saying that
Right
I
here on
voted
the
for him
freakout.
twice, and if he doesn't show up, I'm going to feel like he doesn't care. That's
He
an
doesn't
okay
care.
point to make.
He doesn't care. I saw someone in the chat mention Marianne Williamson. She's running as a Democrat, and there's not going to be a primary unless Biden decides not to run. There will not be a primary. If Joe Biden is running, there will not be a Democrat primary. They're not going to allow that to happen.
If Marianne Williamson does run on
She
like
is
an
running.
independent ticket,
yeah, she's running as a Democrat now, but
you think she'd do well if she got J.K. Rowling as her running mate?
No.
Oh,
I don't think so.
I
And
feel like
first of
they go
all-
well together.
Well, first of all, you got to be eligible to be president.
To be vice president too?
Yes, and J.K. Rowling is not from the United States, so she can't run for president.
Do you
So
have to be?
Where do you come up with this stuff?
Because there's like an order of succession below the president, right?
Yeah.
How far into the order of succession do you have to be born in America?
All of it.
All the way down.
Yes.
Huh.
It would. It's very unlikely that all of the people in the order of succession would all just like get killed all at the same time. It's very unlikely.
But
there are hardly ever kept like them all being in the same place at the same time would be like very unlikely.
Now that we know how easy it is to get cocaine into the White House,
And eventually they would just have a new election if they needed to. So I don't know.
It's
Like the
been
golden
a
days.
5-year. It's been a 5-year
I've
hit.
had you on radio, at least.
That's right. I've been on radio, but and remote, but it's good to be here.
Right.
It's great to see all three of you.
It's so much easier to say our names than Stephanopoulos. It goes
Oh,
on
man,
forever.
very hard. I had to work on that. I just used George. That was it.
Just use first names.
Yes, that's it.
Thank you, Governor.
Thank you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
See, Chris Christie can't pronounce Stephanopoulos,
Sure, for Roper.
but he looks like Snuffleupagus.
Wasn't Snuffleupagus like a woolly mammoth?
Yes.
Let's see.
Everybody asking how Goo Cheese is doing.
Why?
The fact that she's not online tells me she's probably doing better.
I heard from her a couple days ago, actually.
Nice.
Yeah, she's
Did she want to come back to the show?
I didn't ask her, but I could.
Just wonder if she wants to be on the show.
Yeah. What else we got? Oh, I got a bunch of. We'll come back to this other nude shit if we decide to do it. Let's check out this. Let's start a tip train, everybody. Let's start a tip train.
Clee disappear. Clee disappear. Clee disappear. Clee disappear.
God damn it.
Here's some crazy woman freaking out on a plane about like an imaginary friend or something.
Oh?
Say whatever you want. I'm telling you, I'm getting the off, and there's a reason why I'm getting the off, and everyone can either believe it or they cannot believe it. I don't give two but I am telling you right now, that back there is not real. And you can sit on this plane and you can
Everyone looks like what?
Yeah.
die with them or not. I'm not going to.
Is this a Drop Dead Fred sequel?
Yes. And then here's someone. I guess Carrot Top was on this flight.
Shut up.
No.
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 Is he going to play Drop Dead Fred?
Here's a woman explaining what happened here.
Okay, so for everybody who has seen the viral video of the crazy lady that got kicked off the American Airlines flight yesterday, going from DFW to Orlando.
So
I
remember
just
the
kinda wanted to
last
clear up
crazy lady
something.
we watched that was in the airport? She was supposed to be heading to DFW. DFW was the hub for crazy.
Terry Ann Blue?
Yeah.
Just because there's a lot of people that have a lot of questions. So we all boarded the plane. We were on time. Everything was going fine. There was no issues. This woman boarded the plane. we actually took off, like we left the terminal, and we were pulling out onto the runway, fixing to take off, and all of a sudden, so this lady had been drinking prior to getting on the plane, evidently. Some people said they'd seen her at the bar next to the terminal. Anyway, so she was sitting in her seat, and I guess she had a pair of AirPods, and they said she had them in her hand, and then within seconds, we don't know if she pocketed them or where she put them. She misplaced them somehow, and she started yelling at the guy next to her, who of course is African American, and
of course,
saying that he
why? Of
stole her
course,
AirPods.
yeah, I don't understand
and
that.
So she started screaming, "Stop the plane! Stop the plane!"
She's like, of course it's African American. That's where her AirPods went. This guy stole them, of course. What?
Plane, and so the plane turned around. We hadn't left the
Yeah, luckily they hadn't taken off yet.
Come on, ride the train.
Come on, ride the
Did
train.
you see the multiple body cams of Sirax being arrested?
I'm
Benjamin,
actually,
can you please send me those voiceover lines if you can.
Okay.
Love you, sweet wah.
Thank you. Yeah, for the I'm going to do an after stream after this show's over, and I'm going to watch the Cyrax body cams footage, and we'll see what that's like. There's body cam of him in jail.
Jet. Anyways,
pretty
the plane
crazy.
turned around, went back to the terminal. They that's when that video was shot, was on the way back to the terminal. She was, screaming that we were all gonna die. I can't say I didn't question once or twice whether or not I wanted to even stay on the plane, but they ended up escorting her off of the plane. Then we waited on the plane probably about 45 minutes, and then they wanted us to get off the plane, and we had to take all of our stuff off of the plane because of all the comments that this woman was making about us dying.
Bullshit.
And so we all got off the plane, and they had not arrested her at this point because
I'm so glad I've avoided this
while
kind
we're
of shit on
sitting-
an airplane. Like, I've never seen a total freak out. I've had annoying people on an airplane, but not just like a crazy freak out.
They're waiting for them to sweep the plane, make sure that there's nothing wrong with the plane. They also had to take off all of the luggage from underneath the plane, go through it, take the ladies' luggage off. While all this is going on, this lady actually came back walking towards the terminal, like she was still going to get on the plane. And a lady was blocking her way from going over there. And then another guy came and they got her and they led her away. And then they announced that, of course, everybody was clapping and cheering that she did not get let back over there. And then they let the, I guess the 3 flight attendants that were originally on the plane that were dealing with this lady, they said due to the circumstances that they had to get off the plane, and so they had to have 3 more flight attendants come in, so we ended up delayed about 4 hours coming into Orlando. But, and I've heard a lot of questions, people wondering who she was saying didn't exist. The person she was saying did not exist was the flight attendant who originally was dealing with the complaint whenever she started yelling and screaming about the guy supposedly stealing her AirPods. So there's a story. If you guys have any more questions, let me know.
Here's Carrot Top.
Hi, everyone. I just want to let you know I made it home. I'm in my bed. This is what it would be like laying next to me in my bed.
All right, thirsty Carrot Top.
Yeah, I give my hats off to everyone at American Airlines today for how they handled the situation when that fucking nut job just lost her mind in front of the whole plane. And 5 hours later, we're here in Orlando, and I hope you're having a relaxing evening behind bars in Dallas, Texas, and hope you enjoyed your little stunt. It reminds me of
Her stunt is mental illness, Carrot Top.
Murphy movie where he walks in.
She didn't even have props.
Is this the man?
Yeah. If I was on an airplane with Carrot Top, I might point at him and say he's not real too. I don't know.
who wrecked the buffet at the...
Is he talking about Chris Christie?
Yes. Anyway, happy, I missed the fireworks and everything tonight, but we'll catch up tomorrow. Okay,
This
going to bed.
thirsty motherfucker in bed with his shirt off, red light on. He just wants the attention so he can get people in his DMs, and it's working. I'm hitting you up right now, Carrot Top. If you're down for some pound cake, I got you.
Hey guys.
Tila Tequila.
I am
She
getting
been
super thick, bro. Like
I am getting super thick, bro.
Look at this. It's getting bigger and bigger.
Is she pregnant?
It's gonna like explode. It's getting so big that it's starting to grow like under, like out of my arms. You see how it's the boobs? They're like getting bigger. I'm like, what's happening? My small frame cannot handle all this. But again, it's like, if I knew, you know, back in my Hollywood days that one day they would be this gigantic and, you know, my backside too, it's like, oh my God, this is more than enough. The Lord has given me more than I ever asked.
I do think ever since Trish Paytas lost her co-host, Colleen Ballinger, due to some unfortunate grooming, it might be a great replacement to have thick Tila Tequila on a podcast with Trish Paytas. I don't know how long it could last, but there's only one way to find out. Put her in the seat.
Asked for because he gave me more than I can ask for. Like my clothing bursts open, like my shirts and dresses that I have to button, it literally busts open. And I'm like, wow, dang, this is crazy. This is crazy. Okay, the joy of the Lord is my strength. And yes, I am.
Train and donate. Come on, ride the train and donate.
Come on, ride the train.
If you feel like tipping, come on, it's up to you. DP loves sound. That get chaw down the tip train is going round. Come on, guys, hit that Streamlabs link.
Yes. Yes, I'm really going to try to work tonight to get us as close to 50% as possible going into tomorrow's show.
Like this every day. It's kind of crazy. Like, you know, I'm real quiet, but if you're blessed enough to actually encounter me, I literally am like this. One time I was just like this, and then this guy was like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, I'm fine. You know, like zombies are not used to having someone so joyful around, jovial. You know, it kind of scares them a little bit. You know, like
she said instead of jovial, she pronounced it like a Spanish J.
She said joyful, no problem.
Jovial.
They feel like
Is jovial when a girl gets fat and hoes up and she just lets anybody hit it because she's so jovial?
a little bit scary. Okay, so let me calm down. Like, okay, so the reason why I'm wearing this is because this is the end of the world. I probably need to remake this video. Okay.
It's the end of the world.
Look at
the first influencer to game the algorithm by adding everyone who requested her on MySpace.
It was her, Tom, and that blonde girl Forbidden in everybody's top 8.
this, guys. Like, my hair grew out so fast. Remember when I cut it and it was like right here, and the first time I had rolled it in my hair rollers? Remember that video? And that was like barely a few months ago. And look at it now. It's like under here now. What the heck? It's crazy, dude. Okay.
She seems not quite as insane as the last time I saw her.
Okay, so
that's the thick to crazy ratio dissolves when you get fat. You get fat brained, and you can't be as crazy because your brain is satiated from all the delicious carbs.
This video is about the reason why you have deja vu. It's because of this. I mean, let me tell you in a second.
She pointed her tits.
Yeah,
that's why we have deja vu.
That's why we have deja vu.
Is she the three ugly ones they talk about when you go to deja vu? Hundreds of beautiful women and three ugly ones?
The reason why you have deja vu, and also
three ugly ones wasn't a fat joke. She's not three women just because she's
fat.
fat.
The Revelation 12 woman is given a crown of 12 stars. And that is actually the 12 disciples, because it's like Jesus music in the background. It's the 12 disciples, because just as the Lord has exalted me, and I am like a royal diadem
Jackpot
in the
saying
hand of my
Mrs.
God.
Jackpot is insisting that Tila is pregnant. Right off the bat, I suggested she might be pregnant. We don't know. She said it was just the Lord blessing her with big tits and big butt, which might be how me and Christie got this way, because we're God's favorite. I don't know.
God, I'm a jewel in his crown. Oh, there he is. I'm a jewel in his crown.
So one woman swearing she's seeing somebody who's not real on the plane. Tila just thinks Jesus walked in the room right there, threw a biscuit at her. Like, eat this, bitch. You need bigger titties.
Gail used to be like, Zach Knight's over there in the corner.
Yeah.
So.
Therefore, the 12 disciples were given to me as my crown. They're a jewel in my crown. So that's why God placed on top of my head the 12 disciples, the 12 stars on my head in the Revelation 12.
They're called the dozen disciples. When you are religious and fat, you start comparing them to donuts. They become the dozen disciples.
Exalted them so they could sit on my head as my crown. Because, you know, they're the 12 disciples. I mean, if they were not the chosen 12 disciples, God kept his promise. Look how famous they have been all throughout time, like trillions and zillions of people since the time of Jesus until now. They all know about the 12 disciples, you know, all the people of the world, because when you become a Christian, you learn about the 12 disciples.
If anybody wants to start a Christian donut business with me called Disciples Donuts, we're going to sell 12 donuts representing each of the disciples, and it's going to be a baker's dozen. With the Jesus donut, you can only get by buying the 12 disciple donuts. So we're going to make so much money. Whoever wants to invest right now, let's go. Disciple Donuts. It's like the Chick-fil-A of fucking donuts.
And so that's why, because they humbled themselves and gave their lives, you know, the same way as Jesus did, the same way I did, the Lord has...
Mr. Morton says, but will you sell donuts to LGBT? Yes, of course. I don't care who eats the donuts. God can judge them. God, if you're into sick debauchery, you can still enjoy the donuts because your money is good to me. Your morals might be questionable, and God will judge you, but those donuts won't.
Exalted them and made them famous all throughout the land.
Billy and Taft, the Holy Thick Trinity.
That's
God
true.
bless you, sweet boys.
That's actually true.
And okay, so I wanted to, you know, reveal that little thing to y'all. But the reason why I'm wearing this today is because, you know, a lot of people get deja vu, and they're like, why do we get deja vu? You know, when you're doing something, you're like, you have this moment where you're like, whoa, that was weird. I felt like this happened already. Like this exact moment has already happened, and I felt like I just experienced it again. So I'm going to explain to you what that all means. It's going to blow your minds, but this is exactly what's happening, okay, guys? So the reason why y'all I experienced it too, actually. The reason why we experience deja vu is because, believe it or not, guys, the whole world and everything in it has already ended. Like everyone has died.
That's a good point.
The whole world ended, and what's happening right now, guys, at the judgment seat, it's gonna be a little crazy, but try to wrap your mind around what I'm trying to explain to you. So everyone in the earth and everything has already died. And so what happened after that is like all the events happened, everything happened already. So everyone now is right now where we actually are. Everyone's standing in the front, in the throne room of God at the judgment seat. And what's happening right now is everyone's going through their life review.
This makes good sense. Tila Tequila could be like, imagine God is Anthony Fantano and all of existence was an album. And now the album is playing out and we're experiencing our part of the album. This is like our life is this bridge in a song. Everything else has already happened before this. And at the end, God's going to give us like a light 7.
Okay.
One's in line right now, and you know what happens is, okay, so we're all dead. We all, you know, standing at the judgment seat. Well, not us, because I'm not under judgment, But everyone's standing at the judgment seat. So what's happening is God's doing a life review for everyone. The books were open, right? So everyone's judged according to their deeds, and then after that they get tossed into the lake of fire, which is the second death because you all already died. So what happened was we're doing a life review. So God is like a movie. Let's say we watched the movie and we're like, okay, the movie's done now. So God takes you out of the movie, and then what happens is he plays it again. This time you go back into the movie, you're playing it again, and we're all...
This sounds like some of the shit our fan Grow says where she thinks she's in a movie. Like her life is like a living movie.
watching this movie of your life. So it's kind of like being in court and
have you ever had a trip on mushrooms or LSD that made you question the fabric of reality?
Define what you mean by fabric of reality.
Like when you're so high that you're starting to see things in that moment that destroy the notions you've held in waking regular life.
Sure.
Interesting. Can you explain any of them?
Not right now.
Okay.
This is the part of, what do you call that? The evidence, because your whole life has been recorded and all your thoughts and everything. So what God is doing now in front of the witnesses, the cloud of witnesses, is each person is going through their life review. So we all get sent back, right? So God rewinds the movie and we watch it from the beginning. So what's happening now is like you are already at the judgment seat right now.
Tila Tequila and Art Van Gogh would probably be a better podcast than Tila Tequila and Trish Paytas.
Why do you think that?
Because they are both metaphysically not on this planet. Trish, I think, is on this planet. She's just eccentric.
Art Van Gogh, I don't know. She might still be in the loony bin.
She's binned up?
Yeah.
In front of God. And what's happening right now is that you're in this earth just reliving, retelling your story to God to let him know and everybody watching what you did in your life. And as the movie is ending and then it's over and then you wake up and realize, oh my God, you're standing there in front of God in the judgment seat. And then that's when he's like, okay, your name's not found written in the book of life. And then you get tossed into the lake of fire. So that's why you get this deja vu, is because
dude, if Anthony Fantano tossed me to the lake of fire, I'd be bummed.
Yep.
It happened. We already lived our lives. And then, we get taken out of at the end of the world already. And then, so now we're...
Everyone, please like the stream if you haven't already. Please give us a like. End of recording.
Behrman Prophecy brings up main character syndrome. I think main character syndrome is a good thing.
Of course you would.
As long as you don't need other people to subscribe to it. You should be the main character in your life, and you should live life as if you were. It makes for a better life. But you can't make other people believe in that. You can offer other people to believe in it, and people will believe in it if you live that life so well. But you can't tell people that you're God's favorite without and expect them to believe it. They should believe it if you believe it in yourself. Belief is a powerful thing. Suggestion is a powerful thing.
Standing in front of God and everybody, and this simulation, it's literally just a simulation. It's a playback of your life story.
See, it says main character syndrome specifically is when someone presents or imagines themselves as the lead in a sort of fictional version of their life. So that's a little different than just like making themselves the main character in their actual life. It's like they live in like this clearly fictional movie-like version of their life.
You should build that life in reality for yourself. Live the main character life.
Which already happened, but you don't remember it because you died, and now you're rewatching this whole movie, this simulation, over again as God is judging you right now. This second, you're already dead, okay? But this second, everybody's watching your movie right now, and I'm like this messenger that can come in and out of time, right? That's why I never age, because I came from heaven.
You've aged. Like, I can go back and look at how you looked when I first saw you on the internet.
But it does
like,
help to
20
be
years
fat.
ago.
Fat don't crack, right? All your wrinkles get stretched out when you're chunky.
I'm coming back into Earth to
She does look older.
to
though.
release
There's like
these
no denying that she looks
messages to all of you to let you know like what's going on. So that's where that glitch comes from, that deja vu glitch, where you feel like, oh my God, I feel like I've done this before. And it's because you literally have, and what's happening right now is that this is an actual simulation because you're just watching your life story. You're reliving what you already lived.
Okay.
That's a wonderful way to explain deja vu.
We're
Thank
all
you,
dead
Tila
and
Tequila.
our lives are passing before our eyes.
Time is a circle.
I saw this video and I thought it was pretty funny. This guy interviews a bunch of I can't remember his name.
This guy's got crying face.
Yeah, he does look like he's about to cry here. But he interviewed a bunch of Trump people and it's interesting because they're
swaying Trump supporters, including this guy. Thoughts on the federal indictment?
I think this is the guy that accused Colleen Ballinger of the groomer stuff.
My thoughts? Oh, I'm not worried about it.
What?
Not worried.
Is
Like,
that
you don't think he did what
Stuart
he's
Little
being
in a MAGA hat?
accused of?
I mean, what's this indictment being accused of? It's like, they hand out
What's this indictment being accused of?
Yeah.
indictments like cookies.
Well, he's only been indicted twice.
They hand out indictments like cookies. Got any cookies?
I mean, like, so you have the
Manhattan DA and then the federal.
Oh, that Manhattan DA. What a piece of I mean, a porn star. I mean, hey, look, every rich person's had sex with a porn star.
Party of family values, though, right?
Huh?
Party of family values, right?
I mean, I've had sex with a porn star.
King, your fat neighbor who does OnlyFans and you're the only person that subscribes does not count.
And you would be a good candidate in the Party of Family Values?
You know what? We all make mistakes. Show me a man with no conviction of the past. Show me a man who's never said a cuss word. Show me a man that's never
With no conviction? Does he not know what conviction means?
No, he
had
doesn't.
perverted thoughts. Show
Hello.
Hello, Egged. Tip train. Start the tip train rolling right, my friend.
me a man.
Perverted thoughts about their own daughter, like Trump?
I think that was a joke. He said that on The View, and that was on The View.
He said he'd fuck his daughter on The View. The View is a known comedy show.
He said it on Howard Stern. He said it on a whole bunch of
The
different
View is
places.
a known comedy show. He was joking about fucking his daughter. I'm Roll Tide. We don't even joke about that thing. We just do it.
And he said he would like to. He said if he was dating somebody, he would date a woman like his daughter.
That's not what he said. He said he would date his daughter if
she wasn't his daughter.
Yeah.
If she wasn't my
Basically
daughter,
being like,
she'd
I
be the
want to
type of
fuck
woman
my
I'd date.
daughter, but too bad she's my daughter. Like that, basically.
The most recent reporting says that in the White House, he has been overheard fantasizing about having sex with her.
How does that relate? What's going on right now?
What's that? What was that?
There were people making claims that they had heard him fantasizing about his daughter before.
What?
Who knows?
What were the claims? Like, he was just in the Oval Office, like, oh, yes, I was just thinking about that daughter of mine and how great it would be to put my balls on her face like a cream mask.
Yep.
With her.
Admit I'm the better son and I might.
No.
Okay, don't let him say that to you. Keep donating and prove him wrong.
I'm the better.
I think that was a joke. He said that on The View, and that was on The View.
The View.
He said he would like to. He said if he was dating somebody, he would date a woman like his daughter.
And the most recent reporting says that in the White House, he has been overheard fantasizing about having sex with her.
How does that relate? What's going on right now?
He's been overheard fantasizing about having sex with her.
But you asked me, what do I think about his indictment?
Oh, I know. You just brought up porn stars, so here we are.
Look, we've all looked at porn. We've all,
We're just really going off the rails.
Let's see. I'm going to skip his little commentary parts, but the interviews are pretty good. This guy over here is pretty crazy.
When you're not actually addressing the question, the argument, the point from the other person, you're just trying to talk about something outside
really
of
quick.
them.
I got a link from Seth Looks to an article from the Seattle Times that came out a week ago. Trump's lewd talk about daughter Ivanka in front of White House staff recalled in new book.
Yeah, sure.
While President Donald Trump made sexual comments about his daughter Ivanka in front of his employees that were so lewd and disturbing that he was rebuked by his one-time chief of staff, John Kelly, a former Trump official, writes in a new book. Aides said he talked about Ivanka Trump's breasts, her backside, and what it might be like to have sex with her, remarks that prompted Kelly to remind the president that Ivanka was his daughter, writes Miles Taylor, a former chief of staff at the Department of Homeland Security, in his new book, according to Newsweek. Taylor is the official who penned the blistering 2018 New York Times op-ed about the former president under the pen name Anonymous. In his new book, Blowback, a warning to save democracy from the next Trump, not blowback, blowing your daughter's back out. Taylor uses Trump's alleged comments about his beloved oldest daughter, who worked as his senior presidential advisor, to illustrate the almost daily instances of naked sexism in the Trump White House, Newsweek reported. The sexism was so bad that one senior female official told Taylor, "This is not a healthy workplace for women." Taylor also writes that Kelly told him about Trump's comments about his daughter. Kelly retold that story to me in visible disgust. Taylor wrote, according to Newsweek, Kelly also said that Trump was a very, very evil man. Taylor said, there are still quite a few female leaders from the Trump administration who have held their tongues about the unequal treatment they face in the administration at best and the absolute naked sexism they experience at the hands of Donald Trump at worst. The term absolute naked sexism is like a quite triggering term, right? Like, is this the invention of a new level of sexism? The absolute naked level? Taylor's book comes as Ivanka Trump has publicly distanced herself from her father's third run for president in 2024, as well as from his myriad legal difficulties. He faces two separate criminal indictments. One is in New York City and is related to his alleged hush money payment to porn star Stormy Daniels, and another case is in Miami involving charges brought by the U.S. Justice Department over his hoarding of classified documents after he left the White House. Trump has a history of making comments about Ivanka Trump that critics have deemed disturbing. As Newsweek said, Trump often mused in the past about what it would be like to be romantically involved with her. When Trump was the star of the reality TV show The Apprentice, he appeared on the ABC talk show The View with his daughter in 2006 and said, if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. Isn't that terrible? How terrible? Is that terrible? Yeah, it is. In a 2015 interview with Rolling Stone, Trump reportedly celebrated Ivanka Trump's beauty and said, if I weren't happily married and, her father, ... Last month, several former White House staffers opened up about Trump's pattern of behaving inappropriately around female colleagues when he was president, Newsweek reported. Alyssa Farah Griffin, who quit as White House communications director in December 2020, told CNN that there were countless cases of what I considered impropriety in the White House that I brought to the chief of staff because I thought the way he engaged with women was dangerous. In the CNN interview, Farah Griffin urged voters to pay attention and for Republicans to stop making apologies for Trump. This goes on to say that there was a woman, Christian Nielsen, who was Secretary of Homeland Security 2017 to 2019. When we were with him, Kirsten did her best to ignore the president's inappropriate behavior. Taylor writes in his book, according to Newsweek, he called her sweetie and honey and critiqued her makeup and outfits. After an inappropriate comment from Trump, Taylor said Nielsen whispered to him, trust me, this is not a healthy workplace for women. Taylor, a longtime Republican who left the party in 2022, also urges that Kellyanne Conway, who served as Trump's senior counselor, referred to Trump as a misogynistic bully after a meeting during which he berated several female officials. That's interesting. The daughter stuff. If he was really in there talking about her butt and her boobs,
that is weird.
And like the thing on The View was creepy, but like if he's just later on here really talking about her having sex with her butt, her boobs, like that, dedicated as her dad, like damn, dude. There's so many other women, including your wife, that have butt and boobs. And you're over here looking at your daughter. That's weird, man.
Yes. Let's see here.
Arguments a whataboutism.
No, what is it?
It's a logical fallacy when you try to respond to someone's argument, kind of break down someone's argument by just referencing something else separate from the conversation.
You guys do that all the time. I have no. You can't talk to.
That was a whataboutism right there.
No. The point is you can't
Urban
talk
Mask
to a liberal.
in the pleb chat says, what's the odds he touched her inappropriately when she was younger?
I don't know.
I think they're probably low because I think if he did, he wouldn't talk with all the what ifs of it. I think he would slip up and say some even worse stuff. It appears maybe he has these thoughts now. And I feel like the wording would probably be different if he was like that. But we've seen pictures of her on his lap and stuff that was daddy-daughter, probably inappropriate. It's hard to say what's inappropriate with fathers and daughters. Some of it is just father-daughter love, and some of it is inappropriate. To pull the two apart off speculation is not easy. I wouldn't say it's absolute zero, though. It's possible. I feel like he'd talk about it differently if he had. Could be wrong.
I don't know. He's a special kind of guy.
He's a very honest liar. Like
an honest liar.
Yeah, his lies are never that deceptive. They're almost always like, oh, this motherfucker's full of shit. Like very rarely are his lies like, I wonder if he's telling the truth.
We won by a lot.
Yeah.
We won by a lot.
Yeah. You're like, oh, that's a lie. Trump is an honest orange.
He kept the records in Chinatown.
These boxes did not have forged legal military documents. Some of them had my dirty laundry. It was really my dirty laundry boxes as far as I was concerned.
Golf shirts. Here's an old thing that came out 6 years ago.
Donald Trump's crude talk on the Howard Stern show. All right, so your F says, how does it feel to pretend moronic claims are real? Well, I mean, are you talking about the claims that Kelly in the office told Trump to not talk that way about his daughter? Is that the moronic claim? You got to be more clear on what the moronic claims are. Because the cool thing about moronic claims is we don't have to prove them. We just have to make jokes up about them. That's the cool thing here at Drunken Peasants Podcast. We're not the police. We're not the judge, the jury, the executioner, none of that. We're just doing commentary right now. So please be a little more clear so I can give you the be-all, end-all answer you would like. I'll give it to you. If you want me to be judge and jury, I'll do it. You won't like the answer.
Beautiful Ivanka. By the way, your daughter. She's beautiful. Can I say this? A piece of ass. Yeah.
The last couple of years, I go out with somebody, and she's like 21, and she's talking about, what are you doing? And she's studying algebra. And,
so what?
And it's like, it was always embarrassing for me to walk in. It's too young. 30's like a perfect age.
Absolutely. She has enough life experience.
Until she's 35.
Too much life experience.
What is it at 35, Howard? It's called checkout time.
And you're probably, I would say, the greatest judge of beauty on this planet. In fact, I would create a TV show for you where all you did.
See, Howard would stroke Trump's ego and get him to say crazy stuff.
You're probably the greatest judge of beauty on this.
Well, he did own Miss Universe, right?
Yeah, that's
which is the judge of beauty on the planet.
It's probably like a secondary beauty contest. I wouldn't say it's the main one. But even then, it's like, what's he doing? He's walking in while they're naked and peeking.
Yeah.
Anybody could do that.
He was recruiting.
Yeah, anybody could do what Trump was doing.
Now, that may be the best idea of all.
It's a simple thing. It's a half hour, and we strip it out all over the country.
I would say I'm the all-time judge.
You own this pageant. You go over. You're meeting the girls. One of them comes up to you and says, "Mr. Trump, you're a very sexy man. You're a beautiful man. You have fantastic hair. Well, you're a powerful man, right? Right. You're a powerful man. Right. I want to sleep with you." Now, you're not the type that would say no.
I don't want to hurt their feelings.
Right. No, but I mean, you see a beautiful woman. You
I don't want to hurt their altruistic Trump.
Want to have that. You're a guy who likes to have everything, right?
Well, couldn't that be construed, however, as
Could conflict?
Yes.
I don't see it as a conflict.
It could be a conflict of interest, but it's the kind of thing you worry about later.
Oh, I see.
You tend to think about the conflict a little bit later on.
The question is, how can it not be construed?
No, I mean, some of these foreign girls, Mr. Trump, in my country, we say hello with vagina. And
well, you could also say, as the owner of the pageant, it's your obligation to do that.
So you have done that. Now,
I'll tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else, and no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that
like
everything is. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible-looking women, and so I sort of get away with things like that.
At least it wasn't his daughter.
There was a longer one where he talked about Ivanka, and he's like, "Yeah, she has the best body." Some weird shit like that, actually, let's see.
Donald, do you ever discuss sex with your daughter?
No.
You do not?
No.
You've never sat
And I
her
have
down?
a feeling we're not going to hear.
Yeah, no.
And another embarrassing video from a 2006 Howard Fist alongside daughter Ivanka and son Don Jr. joking.
Don Jr.
about
had
being
long
a
hair.
Sexual predator.
You know about sexual predators and things like that. I mean,
You are one.
All right, I was going to say that, but it's true.
I consider myself the apex sexual predator. I own the company that I prey in.
Fucking Robin Quivers. She's just like, you are one.
I wonder what that limo ride afterwards was like. Trump just dropping racial epithets.
Maybe.
That bitch calling me a sexual predator just because she's not the type of woman I'd rape.
Ooh. I'd like one ticket to the movie, please.
Which one?
Huh? Oh, there are several movies playing?
Yeah, there are.
Could you tell me what movies are playing?
Well, you could look at the posters on the wall next to the entrance hall.
I left my glasses in the car and I'd rather not go all the way over there because I'd lose my place in line. Could you briefly tell me about the movies that are playing, please?
Sure, no problem. Actually, I have duplicates of the posters right here. See, there's a historical fantasy about the origins of witchcraft, and it tells the story of the first woman ever to receive magical powers.
Oh, that sounds interesting. What's it called?
Which one?
The one you just told me about.
Yes.
Yes, what?
They're doing a Who's On First. Corpse Midget, come on.
The most convoluted Who's On First.
You never told me.
Yes, I did.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What's it called?
Which one?
The movie you've described to me just now. The one about the first woman to ever receive magical...
The other corpses behind Lucian Autobot look very sad.
They just want their tickets. They're in line waiting behind this idiot.
Powers.
Yes, that one.
What's the name?
No, that's the other movie.
Huh?
Yeah, it's a biopic about James Watt, the famous Scottish scientist who invented the steam engine.
Oh, I learned about him in school. The guy the unit of power was named after. Sounds like an interesting movie.
It has good reviews. Could you please make up your mind? You're holding up the line.
Well, it's not my fault now, is it? You never told me the names of the movies.
Yes, I have.
Are you messing with me?
Oh no, that one premieres next week.
What?
Yeah, it's a rom-com about two comedians who fall in love with each other and can't figure out if the other is reciprocating their feelings or just pranking them.
This one sounds like a fun movie. I might just come to see it. What did you say it was called?
Are you messing with me?
No, I'd just like to watch the movie. What's the name?
Alright, one ticket for What's the Name?
Now hold on a second, what is this ticket for?
For the movie you told me you wanted to watch.
I never told you anything.
Yes, you did. You said you wanted to watch the movie.
Which one?
No, you didn't say which one. You said What's the Name?
I'm confused.
What's taking so long? Come on, hurry up. And there are
What is taking so long? Come on, hurry up.
Would you mind hurrying up, please?
Fine, if you don't want to tell me the names of the movies, just give me a ticket for the one about the woman who gets magical powers.
One ticket for which one?
The fantasy movie.
Okay, so which one?
The one you mentioned first. I don't know what's the name.
No, I mentioned What's the Name second. I distinctly recall telling you about which one first.
Why, I'll come over there and...
Watch it, buddy.
It? No, I don't like horror movies.
So maybe you'd like to
watch it, buddy.
a light fantasy movie.
Sure, which one?
Alright, one ticket for which one?
Thank you, but what's the name?
You can't watch 2 movies at once, sir.
Why not?
Well, you won't understand anything from either of them. You'd leave the theater without even knowing what you've watched.
Well, that wouldn't be much of a change from how I'm entering it.
Stabby says it's
I'm
brilliant.
getting an unsettling flashback to when I worked box office for movie theaters.
Did this happen all the time,
Which
Egghead?
one, Egghead? What is the name, Egghead?
Let's check out...
Why are you tiny Onision, Egghead?
Some T-Bob.
All right.
He's got a hot tub now.
Oh, God.
Shit, man, I'm chilling out in the jacuzzi water.
In the jacuzzi?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We're making ball
I'm doing
sweat soup out here.
Thing. But I want to get on here and tell everybody what I think. Everybody wants my opinion on things all the time. God dang, that son of a bitch is loud, isn't he? Them damn locusts, man, it's their mating season. When the locusts are mating, they don't do nothing but make that sound.
Speaking of mating season, I had a crackhead die in this hot tub the other night.
On a personal level, I got papers that thick. I spent $23 getting copies of all the legal paperwork I need to make sure I'm well covered in filing my lawsuit against the city, the state, and the FBI.
Damn.
For 2 different reasons in particular.
T-Bob is so litigious.
Litigious Bob.
But ultimately...
Litigious Bob Love.
But really 1 or 2 is going to sway in my direction to sue all of them. So they're all going to be included in my lawsuit, not just the city of Palmhurst. So if you know about what I'm talking about, there's an update for you on that.
What are those loud squeals
Got
in
a
the
girl
background?
in her mid-20s hitting
What do you
on
call
me.
them, aphids or cicadas? What did he say they were earlier?
Oh, yeah. You know what? They are something like that. Yeah.
He said it earlier.
Probably
I
cicadas.
already
but,
forgot what the fuck he said.
But he's about to claim that a girl in her mid-20s was just hitting on him. It's an interesting story.
Got a girl in her mid-20s hitting on me now, Uber driver. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, baby. I ain't trying to become the surrogate father to your kids and a relationship here in America and all of that. No, I'm good, baby. She was hot, too. She fucking hot. I could
She was
call her
hot,
right
too.
now and probably get her over here in the jacuzzi with me.
Do it, Bob, you
Yeah,
pussy.
is that
do
crazy?
It. Do it, Bob. You won't
What
do
is
it,
it
pussy.
about my personality that attracts women to me like magnets sometimes? I
Like
don't
maggots.
Get it.
Like maggots.
Women are attracted to Bob like maggots.
Yeah, it's like he's a rotting corpse.
Yep. I don't know what it is. I sit at the hospital. The nurses keep coming in to clean my wounds. The women are attracted to me like maggots.
Just look at me like I really think you would make a great father figure. Is that what they think? I'm starting to think that. I don't know. But no. Y'all know what my plans are. I'm going to get my millions and tail my ass to Africa and set myself up, and then I'm going to be flying back and forth, America, Africa, America, Africa.
Yeah, that's very cheap to
I'm going
do.
to get my millions, and then I'm going to go set
Yeah.
up a sports bar in the Sierra Leone, and then I'll spend half the week in the Sierra Leone, half the week in Texas, another half the week in Sierra Leone at my sports bar, another half the week in Texas.
Watching XFL. Remember, Bob's a big XFL fan.
You know it.
Yeah.
And if I've known
He
you,
hate
if
me.
I know you. If you even know me at all, hardly, I'm going to be giving out so many free plane tickets and trips to Africa.
How the fuck are you getting free plane tickets?
He's getting
There's
his
gonna be a
millions.
stipulation involved.
His plan is to sue the shit out of the city.
Yeah,
and the federal.
and once he gets his millions, he's going to give everybody plane tickets to Africa.
Wow.
So they can come back to the United States and tell everybody how great his Sierra Leone sports bar is.
So that's his version of when I win the lottery. This is what I'm going to do.
Yeah,
but
when he
it's-
opens up the $2 million Magic the Gathering card. He's moving to Sierra Leone.
Bet that. Yeah. You got to do like, you got to be in my commercials though, right? Like if I want to do a commercial and I want to have you and whoever you brought with you, you know, y'all be happy, like posing, like just talking about your normal day or whatever. You got to be in the video, man. That's advertisement for me for more customers, right? And you can't beat a free vacation to Africa.
You can't beat a free vacation to Africa. You know how I would beat a free vacation to Africa? You know how I beat it? By staying home.
Yeah.
We're already there.
There are some countries in Africa I'd be willing to visit, but most not. Sierra Leone's definitely not one of them.
Yeah, I guess.
I would go to Morocco. That's a pretty touristy part.
There's tons of places I'd probably go to in Africa, but I also enjoy staying home. So it's still hard for me.
All the African paraphernalia you get to bring back. The clothing. Well, if it would look cool in some of them outfits, right? The shirts and all of that they got going over there.
But who are we to talk about Trumpster Bob's
women?
aspirations?
Oh, God, you bought some-
A week ago, we would have said if he was in a hot tub, it'd be water he poured in the back of that pickup truck. Now he's got a hot tub.
I'd probably like to check out Egypt too, but just for the historical stuff. I don't know. Egypt seems kind of sketchy in some places.
I just want to go wherever I can conquer and take over a child army. I think that would be a little souvenir to have like Billy 2012 going because I riled up a child army in my favor and taught them all like the finer things of life. Once they're done shooting and polluting or whatever child armies do, I would teach them like cool shit, like eating disciple donuts. And
someone said no Morocco, 2 girls got beheaded. I mean, like so many people get beheaded in Mexico. I've been to Mexico. I mean, like just because horrible things happen sometimes in a place doesn't mean that's going to happen to you. But I wouldn't. I probably wouldn't want to go to Africa at all normally. But I was like, where would I want to go in Africa? And those were the 2 places that came to mind, off the top of my head.
I want to go to all of Africa on a safari.
You're gonna be a very happy.
But I don't
man
trust
for
a
that
free
one.
trip to Africa.
I don't
for
think
some
you can
reason.
go on a safari in all of Africa because, like, some places in Africa you couldn't go on safari.
Wait.
Oh my goodness, Bob. Yeah, it is cool though that he has a a fart tank to sit in.
Yeah, nice little fart soup.
Yeah.
Who's gonna stop me if I have a child army? I could blaze through all of Africa on safari with my child army. The worst thing is, I'm not just using the child army to murder and stuff. I'm also using them to carry me on one of those thrones that have to be carried. It's going to have like 100 handles. So 100 children have to carry my fat ass around as we traverse the African lands. That'd be lit. They'd be well fed, very strong. If I'm going to have a child army, like they're going to get good food.
After decades of booming growth, the commercial real estate industry has run into a brick wall. Building values are plummeting, offices.
There's like just empty offices everywhere. There's like buildings, office buildings that are just like vacant now.
The state should rent them and fill them with homeless people.
Something like that.
Some remain empty, and now rising interest rates could put pressure. The industry could pressure the industry even further. CNN's Vanessa Yurkevich is here with more.
They're statuesque, vast, and staggering, and they're empty. Skyscrapers and office buildings once stacked high with businesses are experiencing high vacancy rates in the U.S., nearly 19%.
I've seen that with office buildings, even like in this area here.
Forget the homeless. Everybody who has to travel into New York to work should have an apartment in these things, so they can just live there in the city to work.
Some of the most expensive real estate in the entire country.
Well, if it's empty, make them pay for it. Make New York put them up there.
0.5% higher than before the pandemic.
I think it's a very unique moment. Nothing like any
disruptive marketplace.
Actually, there's this YouTube channel I watch where this guy goes to different people's apartments and they give him like a tour. And he goes to like New York City apartments that are literally like little closets, like a closet that was renovated into a loft, and someone sleeps in the top part with like the ceiling like this far away from their nose. It's crazy.
That I've experienced.
I was looking at this hotel in Spain, and it's like these little capsules. They're like little coffins.
Yeah.
You just crawl into these coffins to sleep.
It's 40 years.
The pandemic emptied offices around the country. Today, the number of people returning to in-person work is less than 50% in 10 major metro areas, forcing companies to rethink physical office space.
Good.
You know, Immortan Dave said it sounds like Japan. Did you know in Japan, part of the reason why they have very low homeless in Tokyo is because a lot of people there that don't have homes live in these internet cafes. There are internet cafes in Japan that you can rent by the hour, and you're allowed to sleep in them and just do whatever you want as long as you pay for them. And people basically they beg for money to spend to live in those little internet cafes. It's crazy.
Half of the biggest global companies say they'll need less real estate in the next 3 years, leaving landlords with loans to pay in a bind.
If there's no tenant, you're not making money. Right. What do you do?
There's no recouping, lost income for downtime.
Stephen Durrells runs the leasing at SL Green, New York City's largest commercial landlord.
Yeah, here it is. Net Cafe Refugees, also known as cyber homeless.
The cyber homeless.
Yes.
I'm going to take a nap. Pay by the hour to nap. Could you get a beach in there by the hour, or is that against the rules?
They have what they call love hotels for that sort of thing. It's hotels that can be rented in like 15-minute increments.
15-minute increments?
Yeah.
What do I do with the other 9 minutes? Manga cafes?
Yeah.
Are they just in them booths fapping?
I watched like a documentary video about it, and they sleep, and sometimes they're on the internet, but they set up shop there, and then when their time runs out, they end up just moving to another one.
Does someone come in with a cattle prod and zap them to wake them up?
I don't think so. I think they just come in and they're like, you got to get up and leave.
I was hoping there was an electric alarm clock involved.
Egged. Oh, egged. So, let's see what they say.
With more than 30 million square feet of space to rent, the collapsing demand for office space
look at
means
these
their tenant
really
vacancy
nice
rate
offices.
shot up from 3% pre-pandemic to 10%
Why would they have a
today.
nice office
That
in
calls
Manhattan?
for some creativity.
You can build the set in here. You can have a fight scene in here.
SL Green is now working
Oh, they want to turn it into a soundstage?
Yes.
with Backlot, a company that connects landlords at 332 buildings across New York and New Jersey with film and TV companies. This episode of Law & Order was filmed in this vacant office in Midtown Manhattan. The Watcher on Netflix and these East Side offices.
I think people are starting to look holistically at how they can support a
So
revenue
instead
stream.
of helping people find housing with these empty buildings, they're just giving Hollywood a different place to shoot.
Of course,
things.
yeah. They're not going to turn them into housing.
This year, SL Green says it will earn $3 million from film and TV shoots.
It's really helped mitigate the loss of income during the downtime periods.
Good for you,
Empty
buddy.
office buildings could be turned into residential.
Oh.
A big need. This project in Washington, D.C., once an office building, is being turned into apartments. But that's not an easy, quick fix process. Less than 1% of apartments nationwide are converted from commercial properties. And across the river in Arlington, Virginia, the city is trying to get ahead of its empty office space problem at 22%.
I'm sitting right today.
So 22% of their office buildings are empty.
In Northeastern's DC campus. Last year, university was not allowed to take up space in an office building.
Thanks to new city zoning laws, that's now possible, along with 7 new types of commercial businesses, like animal boarding, hydroponic farms,
The
and
The mayor being in the pocket of the real estate developers is giving money to turn these empty spaces into anything but residential homes.
Pickleball. It's already happening in South Jersey.
Pickleball.
Yeah, it's so weird how popular pickleball is.
The 2020
Yeah.
turned pickleball into a big dealio.
Yeah.
1986 neighborhood of the year. The Maple Leaf neighborhood in North Seattle.
Is that where it started, pickleball?
It's not. I don't know if that's where it started.
I think it started in Seattle
but
somewhere.
It was 1986 neighborhood of the year Maple Leaf, not too far from my current residence. They have a pickleball court there, and my roommates would go play pickleball during the pandemic, and they started it. They started it.
This 22,000.
You ever meet my roommate Keelan? He lived there at the house for a while. A little small guy. We used to pick on him all the time.
No, I don't remember.
He blew his hand off last night with fireworks, I think.
Dude, I've been seeing so many horrible news stories because of fireworks. It's crazy. People getting their houses burned down. Someone shot some fireworks up on someone's balcony and it burned their townhouse down.
Facility was
Little Keelan used to play pickleball.
He can't play pickleball.
He's not right now. He's in the ER getting blood transfusions.
That's
Were there a
terrible.
lot of options like this on the market?
Yeah, I think we had more opportunity than we thought there would be in the market.
Pickleball is the fastest growing sport in America. So does
Some
that
New
mean
York
that
office space will become studios. Then there won't be enough offices, so they'll rent the Hollywood studios. Then there won't be enough studios. And repeat until all offices are in Hollywood and all studios are in New York.
Interesting.
sport needs to find places to play quickly?
The greatest threat to the growth of pickleball is the lack of facility.
Oh, shit. I knew pickleball was threatened, but I didn't realize it was by the lack of facility.
It's endangered.
I didn't realize that was why. Seth Look says pickleball is a fad. It will come and go, but badminton is forever.
Draw people into commercial spaces. This is also happening.
Yeah, because
in
people in
Connecticut.
Seattle have been playing
Connecticut, the
pickleball
largest
for a
indoor
very
pickleball
long
facility
time.
Will open.
Yeah,
in an
1986
old
neighborhood of the year. Maple Leaf neighborhood in Seattle has a quality pickleball court.
First played on Bainbridge Island in 1965.
Woo-wee! The International Federation of Pickleball.
Yeah. Yeah, so
It's the highest governing body. Mixed sex.
Yeah.
You can have mixed
You know what?
sex
Did you
pickleball.
have you checked out the? You just reminded me of something that I forgot to ask you. Have you checked out the AEW video game? Like, have you seen it?
I've seen some clips of it.
Because they were trying to emulate No Mercy.
Yeah,
with
that's
it.
what I thought maybe it was like, but
And they can do the intergender matches, which is pretty cool. Like, they brought that back.
yeah,
Which I think is awesome.
If I want to beat up women, I don't need a video game to do it.
Well, they took it out of all the WWE games, which was dumb, because if you wanted to make characters of people you knew, like if I wanted to do actual Mania characters and make Gail, I couldn't make Gail and have her fight, Zack Knight or whatever.
Yeah, now we have to say they identify, and then they can't say anything.
Okay.
There you go. We found our way through.
Fifth, so that's an old Saks Fifth Avenue. And we spoke to landlords about what they feel like is going to bring businesses and people back into the office. Perks. So
Okay, no.
Dude, we need perks.
No.
You know what the home doesn't have that the office has? A wall of shitty snacks. If you ever go to the office and be like, you know what I want right now? I want a sugar-free brownie that's not actually a brownie. It's a bar. It's a chocolate brownie bar. Sugar-free. Guarantee you, office spaces in America have those.
Yeah.
Well, look, I mean, this is Florida elections are always competitive, and this is a guy who, although he's much too liberal for Florida, I think he's got huge problems with how he's governed Tallahassee. He is an articulate spokesman for those far left views, and he's a charismatic candidate. And I watched those Democrat debates. None of that was my cup of tea, but I mean, he performed better than the other people there. So we've got to work hard to make sure that we continue Florida going in a good direction. Let's build off the success we've had on Governor Scott. The last thing we need to do is to monkey this up by trying
What?
to embrace a socialist agenda with huge tax increases and bankrupting the state.
What
That
does
is
monkey
not-
this up mean?
I had never heard that
I'm
term
looking up
before.
I'm looking up monkey this up. What does this mean? Monkey this up meaning when you send a monkey to carry a breakup letter to a significant other.
Is that from Urban Dictionary?
Yeah, rather
That
than
sounds
break up
dumb.
with that person yourself.
Okay.
Did this guy send a monkey to break up with his significant other?
No.
Going to work. That's not going to be good for Florida.
One in the chat if you think DeSantis was being racist.
DeSantis says if he gets elected that he's going to end birthright citizenship on day one.
Ooh, does he have that power?
I don't think so because it's in the Constitution.
Well, I sure hope he doesn't have that power like Biden didn't have the power to give everybody tax breaks or college credits.
Egged, I'm the better son. I'm the better son. See, your father, Larry Simpson, hooked up with Morgan Fairchild, my mother. And then I was born. And then, so I was the Arnold, and then you, the Danny DeVito, came later. That's how this went, Egged. I was offered the role of Speedy Adams first, and I turned it down because I had better things to do than be in the Justice Riders series. And then you were given the role, and you fucked it up, Egged. You fucked it up.
Ron DeSantis unveiled his border security plan yesterday. It was a big...
I was there the whole time, Egged. You just didn't notice. You ever seen Rain Man, Egged? Tom Cruise finds out he has a tardy brother that he didn't even know that he had his whole life.
How late was his brother?
Pretty late. Quite a bit of tardy. See, this is a Rain Man situation. I didn't realize I had a tardy brother this whole time.
Reveal. Ashley's got details because this is a big plan, a bold plan.
It is. He was speaking in South Texas, and DeSantis called for, completing the border wall. Okay, we get that immediately.
Egged's adamant
More
that you weren't
aggressive
there when
moves
he was
against the
growing
drug
up.
Cartels, including bringing in the military, possible use of deadly
He
force.
lacks perception.
The end of catch and release programs.
That's part of his
restoring
issue.
the Remain in
It's part of his
Mexico
tardiness.
policy, and yes, ending birthright citizenship. Listen to this.
Ending birthright citizenship is such a horrible idea. I can't believe people running for president are saying
Republicans
this.
and Democrats always chirping about this and yet never actually bringing the issue to a conclusion, never actually getting the job done. So when we go in on day one, we're going to marshal every bit of authority that we have. We'll work with Congress when we need to. We'll take executive action when we can. And it will be a day one priority.
On priority. By the way,
day one priority.
I don't know how he thinks he can do that. If he thinks he can do like an executive order or something, it's on. I guess the courts will have to rule on it. I don't know. It's
Citizenship
very
is a
strange.
constitutional declaration that any child, as we know, born in the United States,
Yeah.
automatically an American citizen. Changing that, though, is going to require a constitutional amendment.
Yes, there would have to be a constitutional amendment, which is very hard to make happen, especially today.
Meaning a simple executive order will probably be struck down by the courts. We know that.
I'm the only legitimate son, Egghead. The only one. All it took was a little Morgan Fairchild genetics to make the perfect son. All right?
But a lot of people support that. Donald Trump also
Yes.
has questioned birthright citizenship.
Texas Congressman Tony Gonzalez, Republican Tony Gonzalez, joins me now. Congressman, you were at the border meeting yesterday. What do you make of this plan to end birthright citizenship? That's going to be kind of contentious, isn't it?
Yeah, I wasn't at that event, but I was at another event in El Paso, 100 miles away. But I will say, running for president has to be pretty fun. You can say whatever the heck you want and not really have to deliver on anything.
So, and catch and release. So, catch in prison, I guess, is what it is. Reimpose remain in Mexico. I'm not sure what that policy is specifically. Increase border patrol pay. Well, someone has to do it. I don't know how. I guess it depends on how much of an increase. Takes action to end birthright citizenship. I think that's an empty promise unless he's really dumb. He realizes that he can't just do that.
Well, if he tries to, and he can get enough Americans in the United States to vote their Congress in that will support it, he only needs 2/3 of the Congress to change it, right?
It has to pass the House and the Senate, I believe. It's not easy. It's not an easy thing to do an amendment. Let's see.
Hope and pray that he will, but today he's still just a
I like how
bill.
his other one is build a wall.
Ah, now that wall. He should build a wall around Florida.
So it has to be a 2/3 vote of the House and the Senate. Or if 2/3 of the states request one by a convention called for that purpose. So it would take something like that. Then the amendment was then be ratified by 3/4 of the state legislatures and 3/4 of conventions called in each state for ratification. So it's a very, like, you would have to get a lot of people to agree on a lot of stuff. 2/3. Both houses of Congress are more closely divided. You won't get that 2/3.
I wonder
there.
if Ron DeSantis has ever built a cabin.
My ass is going camping tomorrow. Won't be back till next
Just your
week,
ass?
so I'm sending my extra coin in today. I bet you no one out there has the fortitude to donate at least $5 as well.
Good call out. Good call out.
Don't let him talk to you like that. Show him up.
Show him you could donate at least $5 as well. And shout out to the $6.66 donation, bringing us to an even 15.5%, aka 1, 2, 4. Go. Big math. It's divine math. This is all divine math right here. Your donation is divine math, ladies and gentlemen.
You get the job. Campaigning is one thing, governing is another. It's pretty simple. You want to secure the border, re-implement the Trump policies that work, end, catch, and release. Remain in Mexico policy, build the wall. These three things work, and that in itself is hard enough to do as it is. I want to see the White House, whoever's in the White House, have less power, not more power. Not more power. I'm against executive orders.
I don't think you could do an executive order for that. I just think that's gonna take.
Depends on how stacked the Supreme Court is in your favor.
I don't think the Supreme Court would, because they still have to interpret what the Constitution says, and it's pretty clear about how this works. So if you're born here, you're a citizen. That's just how it's outlined there.
We'll see.
A new immigration bill in Florida is set to go into effect tomorrow. It centers around migrant workers who make up a large portion of the workforce in the state's key industries. Morning Joe reporter Daniela Pierre Bravo traveled to Florida to investigate how the new law will affect the agriculture industry, of course, one of the state's top economic drivers. And Daniela joins us now. Good morning, Daniela. What did you learn?
Boy, Mr. Snacks. You'll know the ones when you hear them speak TGE language of the forest.
The language of the forest. Yeah, make sure if you're going to have any
You want
Wendy's.
to call yourself the real son? Give me a damn break. I'm the real son, and if you are a Simpson, then you are the worst one of Dad's kids.
Nope, I'm the best.
Ben, how can
I'm
you
the
say you're the
best.
best?
For one thing, my brother here that claims I'm not the best simps for me. So how am I not the best? And I was offered the Stormy
So
or
if he
Speedy
simps,
Adams
if
role.
he simps for you, then I think he's the real Simpson.
Well, you see, we'll to be continued. To be continued. Thanks for simping on me so hard, Egged. So hard.
Literal interpretation of simp son is simp son. Sounds like you just proved Egged right by calling him the simp son, the real simp son.
That's not what I mean.
Well, that's
it's
what you
just more.
said.
It's just more nonsense from Billy the Fridge. More ridiculous wordplay.
Sorry.
That's all he's got.
It's not my fault.
Here's a word that does a thing. That's
You tell
what
him,
it's
Egghead. You
for.
tell him. He just told you you're the real simp son. You tell him, Egghead.
I'm working on it.
I'm working on it.
That was Egghead's best video that he ever made, right there.
Boner alert. Big Diesel versus Ruby Jules.
He's my biggest fan. Egghead's my biggest fan.
Well, I'm going against Big Diesel, and I have to work out. But first, before I work out, I'm gonna have to do some research.
Does he have a knitted cigar hanging out of his mouth in this photograph?
Hashtag doom scrolling.
Uh-oh. Ruby Jules on a doom scroll sounds dangerous.
Ruby Jules is the #1 contender for the King of Games championship. Remember?
Yeah, do we know what the challenge is?
You know, I think I need something real. So, I'm gonna go ahead and call someone. Hopefully, I can get a good, I have a number for someone, so I need workout advice and I need something. Hello? Can you come over? I need to know how to work out. I'm going against Big Diesel.
Oh, it's that spinning fish. Is Jespro still in his closet?
Now I can get to training for this actual Mania coming up. Oh yeah, $5 or above patrons for Drunken Peasants. Yeah, come on, I gotta win against Big Diesel for King of Games. So I'm gonna go answer the door right now, okay?
That fish has been spinning for 19 days now.
Thank goodness it's you. I have a match against Big Diesel, and I'm gonna need your help. I'm really fat. The only good part of my body is my beautiful ass. Can you please help me lose this water weight?
If it wasn't water weight, could I do this?
True. True.
Does Ruby Jules live with Nikocado?
Yeah.
Hey, handsome. Does that mean I should start eating salad? McDonald's has a good salad. I could totally go for that.
Wendy's salad is better.
Hey, okay. I'm sorry. Ow! I don't believe
Oh,
it.
damn.
Ow!
I smashed it with my butt.
Oh! Okay.
Nikocado avocado.
Salad.
Just whoop Ruby Jules into
This
shape.
is pretty good.
I'm sorry. I'll find a different way. Big Diesel, I'm coming for you.
Oh, I was afraid that he was going to do the Booker T. I thought I saw it coming.
Ruby Jules is getting whipped into shape by all the great fats.
All of the great fats?
All the great fats are going to whoop Ruby Jules into shape.
Sweet.
Taft is next.
It's your boy, King of Games, or AKA Big Diesel. Well, apparently, my title is up for grabs. Isn't that fun? And apparently, it's by your boy, Ruby Jules, you know, Mr. Quit Every Single Other Fucking Time person, right? I kind of feel bad because I'm just.
When you say Mr. Quit Every Other Single Time, you could be talking about Egghead too. I'm just throwing that out there.
How do I say this without sounding narcissistic? Billy, I know you don't care, but I kind of do.
Oh.
You are not him. You are not him.
I told a bitch I'm him, quit playing. I have a special stipulation this time. since I want to kind of make this fair, so it's not a complete blowout, I'm coming up with a fan stipulation. I'm going to take 5 suggestions that I think are the most, appropriate for our match.
The king of quitters.
Let Ben know, and he's going to put it to a vote, be in one of these DP streams.
Nice.
So far, we have a workout competition.
Oh, God. Wow.
Rubby Jewels?
There is a destroy stuff competition. Thank Lord Magicus for that. There's also a dance competition. So I need 2 more stipulations. I am a king, but I believe in democracy. Let's see if you guys want to give Ruby an edge. Or, you just want to see him crushed.
But Ruby, if you decide to go for my title, I accept your challenge.
Oh, shit.
But if you decide to go for the king, you best not miss.
Ooh.
Gigio games.
See you next game.
All right.
Damn.
So, Egged, I don't know why you're making promos to me when I already have an opponent for Summer Scam and you're going to have an opponent for Summer Scam. I don't know why you're making promos to me. You should be worrying about your actual opponent coming up. And you think just because you have currency in the account, that's how you're going to prove you're better than me, by cheating with some special thing where you get to beat me up if I'm already injured? Whatever. If that's the only way you're confident in yourself, I guess so be it, loser. But here we go. Let's see what he says.
All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I got the contract. And so, currency in the account clearly fucking states that I, Egghead, am now guaranteed a title opportunity of my choosing at any given place or given time for up to 1 year.
Yes.
So, Ben, you want to call yourself the better Simpson? You want to call yourself the better son?
Yes.
Well, I have a question for you then. Where the hell were you? Where the hell were you?
I told you, they hid you like Quasimodo in the bell tower from me. Yeah, they didn't want your bad vibe bringing me down.
Where the hell were you when he needed you the most?
Oh, I was there.
Did you go up to Oklahoma?
No, yes.
And visited him when he
all
had
the
his triple
time
bypass surgery in 2019?
I did.
No.
I was there.
Did you?
They were like, oh, you better get out of here. Colton's coming. Get out of here.
Go to his funeral.
Yes.
When he passed away on August 23rd, 2021.
I was hiding in the shadows. I like to hide in the shadows.
It's where you're most comfortable.
Yes.
Evil gets defeated in the light.
Sorry you're not perceptive enough to notice that, Egged. Sorry.
You didn't. Did you go to visit him when he was in the fucking funeral, or not funeral, the nursing home?
My answer to all these questions is yes. It's not my problem you didn't notice.
Where were you? See, all those things, I did those things. You stayed in Seattle. And you didn't do shit. You want to call yourself the better brother?
It was all a cover.
Call yourself the better
I don't
son?
actually live in Seattle. I live in
my
Oklahoma.
Eyes, you are nothing more than the worst one out of the entire Simpson family.
He's so jealous that he's not the better the better brother. I don't know.
I may have my faults, but my God, you were never even there for him. So, Summer Scam, you better. Oh, I hope to God you win against Star Spangled Luchador.
I see him in the chat right there.
I'm coming for that damn title, and by the end of Summer Scam, I guarantee you that I will be the world heavyweight champion.
He's so intense.
I guarantee you that.
He's got like Undertaker's music or so, like low rent Undertaker music.
That's just how much he misses his dad. He still plays the funeral
Yeah,
music.
you know what? I really hate how Egghead's
He's the better son.
He's hating on the Simpson family by going against the pride of the Simpson family. I can't believe he's doing that. I see people in the chat and they're like, wow, I can't believe Egghead's talking trash about the Simpson family like that. Guys, I try to talk some sense into him. I try to talk. You know what? He's not confident enough to beat me on his own.
Egghead's the better son.
Yeah, okay,
He
Billy.
played Speedy Adams.
We're so used to you
He
being
played
contrarian.
Speedy
We know
Adams.
you're doing it. You and I both know I'm
You
the
didn't
better.
get one
I'm
role
the
in
better
the Canyon
son.
Trails movies, Ben.
He thinks he can get away with pissing all over the fucking Simpson name. I'm here to show everyone that we are redeemable. I apologize for letting Egghead represent my family for so long, and that I kept this from all of you all this time. You know, I was afraid that if you guys found out my mom was Morgan Fairchild, weird shit would happen. So that was the main reason I didn't share it with all of you. Look at Egghead trying to lie. You're lying on my name. You're lying on my name, Egghead. But anyway, you're gonna have to wait. You have to wait, boy. You've got someone else that's going to go up against you soon. So prepare for that.
Don't let him get to you, Egghead. He already called you the real simp son today.
Yeah. Egghead's, I don't know. Egghead's starting a few with
Show
me.
the birth certificate. Then who's my
Oh,
opponent,
okay,
bitch
Donald
boy?
Trump.
Ben was born in Kenya. Egghead told me.
I love how Egghead claims to be a leftist, but he's literally delivering Donald Trump lines right now. This is insane, my friends.
It's not his fault you were born in Kenya.
Yeah, fucking Larry was on safari in Kenya where he met
got a
Morgan.
He got a free trip from Trumpster Bob.
He met Morgan Fairchild there.
They were both there due to free trips from Trumpster Bob.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody's saying they haven't seen your birth certificate. I don't think Ben needs to show you his birth certificate.
No.
If Obama can be born in Kenya and still be president, Ben can still be Larry Simpson's best son.
Yes. And I think it's disgusting
If
that
I need to be worried about my main opponent for SummerSlam, why wait? Reveal it now, punk bitch.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Punk bitch. Come on. Come on, Egghead. Try harder. Try harder. Boner alert. Boner alert. Man, you know what? I'm going to let Ryby know what a loser you are after I beat you. After you cash it in, I'll be like, Ryby, guess what? Guess what? Egghead had this thing where he was for sure to beat me, and he still lost anyway. It's going to be insane when that happens. It's going to be crazy.
Bryant in the pleb chat wants to know what Larry Simpson's middle name is. Obviously, it's Benjamin.
It's Danger. Danger was his middle name. I like how Egghead's like, wrong! Like I really thought it was Danger. Yeah, I know I'm wrong. Danger is not a common last name.
Middle name, Ben. Middle name.
Or middle name. Sorry.
It is a common middle name when
And
you're
last
a cowboy.
name. It's a common first name if your last name is Mouse.
Danger Mouse.
Yeah, you ever seen that show?
Danger Doug. Danger Doodle.
Texas Clapdoodle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One in the chat if you sat through that entire segment without leaving.
What? Wouldn't they just be there?
I don't know. They wouldn't be able to put ones in. I'll tell you that much. Hey, Majorly Awesome. I knew you'd stick it through. There you go. There's 3s of us, 4s of us, maybe even 5s. Anybody who hasn't liked the stream yet, the stream is a lonely, lonely girl.
So anyway, Egghead, of course I know that Dad's middle name was Warren. Larry Warren Simpson. I was just joking about Danger being his middle name. I know. Oh, okay. So you're going to ask me what it is, and then I tell you, and then you're like, oh, you looked it up, so why even ask at all?
Bryant asked. Bryant in the pleb chat.
No, he was like, no, he did ask. He said, if you go like back in the chat, he was like, say it then. What is it then? He knew. He knew.
He thinks you looked it up. Why are you going to let Egghead call you a liar? Ban him, Ben.
I can't believe he's lying on the Simpson name.
Ban him, Ben. Get him out of here.
He's such a disgrace to the family.
How are you going to let him call you a liar?
God. Troll. Get banned, troll. Such a disgrace to the family. And then when Egghead moved to Texas, everyone was like, finally, he's gone, man. Glad we got rid of that weirdo. For once and for all.
Why'd you guys never say this to his face that entire time? Were you cowards?
He's an ugly crier.
Huh.
And I don't like that.
Huh.
It grosses everybody out. He's a very ugly crier. None of us could deal with that.
Sounds like a cowardly family. I don't believe that's the real Simpson family. I know at least Uncle... I forgot the uncle's name.
Oh,
Uncle Simpson. Uncle Stormy.
Stormy
Uncle
Daniels.
Stormy would have said something.
Uncle Larry.
Larry's the papa.
Or Uncle...
Uncle Stormy would have said something.
Uncle Stormy.
Rick Simpson.
Rick Simpson.
He would have said something.
Uncle Rick.
He wouldn't have been afraid to make Egghead ugly cry.
Tain't likely.
What do you say to all the people that agree with Egghead and think you're the lesser Simpson?
Your opinion is wrong.
Ooh.
I respectfully disagree with you.
That's a respectful
You know what? The lesser Simpson would lose his temper.
Mm.
The lesser Simpson would not be able to control his emotions and freak out and not be able to handle things when they're under pressure. They would quit.
Egghead, prove Ben wrong
They
with a
would
gigantic
quit.
donut.
The greater Simpson would stand here tall and be like, well, I respectfully disagree with your opinion, but you do have your right to say it.
Egghead, what do you say to all the people out there that think you're not the real O.J. Simpson? Let us know, Egghead.
You're not the real O.J. Simpson.
Let us know.
Now you're stealing my shtick, Egghead. Now you're stealing my shtick.
How could you just steal somebody's shtick, Egghead?
You were already losing your shit. You were already all emotional. You were already about to rage out.
How could you steal somebody's shtick, Egghead? How could you come in here and claim you're somebody's son after all that Ben's been through with his father?
Exactly.
How could you do that? How could you steal?
Exactly.
How could you
Thank
steal
you
his
for
shtick?
backing me up. Thank you for backing me up.
That's sick. That's sick, Egghead.
Thank you, Billy. I appreciate it.
How could you come in here after all Ben's been through and twist something as sacred as fatherly love into a stupid wrestling promo, Egghead?
How could you do that?
How could you do that? How could you spend so much time picking on poor little Ben, Egghead?
Exactly. Exactly. Wow. He's so rational. We are going to go ahead and end the show in just a moment here. I'm going to do an after show, and I will share the link with all of you. I'll pin it in the chat. I'm going to go through some new Cyrax body cam footage, which looks pretty interesting. I didn't watch all of it.
There's boogers there. It's nice to see calm level Egghead say I respectfully disagree with your crap.
That's it.
With your crap.
DONE. 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 Okay. I will see all of you guys in this other show. I am going to post. Oh, shit. I got to grab the link here.
Egid. Egid's a real pisser.
Am I running away from it? I mean, I'll go talk about it in the other stream if you want.
Run away from the pain.
I'll have Egid on and we can talk about it if he wants, but he'll get mad and quit. He'll get mad and quit. He will. Egid. So follow that over to the other stream. It will begin shortly. I will see all of you there. Have a good night, everybody.
In the beginning, there was nothing. And then there was the Drunken Peasants Podcast.
Drunken Peasants. Drunken Peasants. Drunken Peasants. Drunken Peasants. From the strangest corners of the internet, gonna get TP'd by Billy and Ben. You know where you can find them at. Get ready, cause they're gonna kick your... Drunken Peasants. Drunken Peasants. Drunken Peasants. Drunken Peasants.